Imagine just for a moment that you are lying somewhere quiet, maybe outside under an open sky, or perhaps near a window where the evening light has started to fade. The air is still. Your breathing is slow, and somewhere above you, or beyond you, or scattered across whatever view you have of the world right now, there is light. Soft, distant, familiar light. The kind of light that has always been there, ever since you first looked up as a child and noticed the stars, or the glow of a street lamp, or the last pale edge of the sun slipping below the horizon. What you are seeing is not happening now. This might sound strange at first. It might even sound wrong. You see something, and it seems immediate. It seems present. When you watch the sun setting, it feels like you are watching it happen in real time, like the sun is sinking right now at this exact moment as you observe it. When you glance at a star, it seems fixed in the sky, burning away in the present tense, doing what stars do while you happen to look up. But here is the strange part. None of it is happening now. Not really. Not in any meaningful sense of the word now. What you are seeing every single time you look at anything is something that has already happened. Something that took place moments ago, or minutes ago, or in some cases, years and centuries and unfathomable stretches of time before you were even born. The light you are looking at is old. It is always old. It has traveled to reach you, and that journey took time. And because it took time, what you are seeing is not the world as it is. It is the world as it was. This is not a theory. It is not a speculation. It is simply what happens when light moves through space, which is the only way anything can be seen at all. Think about this for a moment. Everything you have ever seen in your entire life has been delayed. Every face, every room, every landscape, every flicker of motion, every colour and shape that your eyes have ever registered has arrived after the fact. You have never once seen the present. You have only ever seen the past arriving, over and over again, in an endless stream of delayed information. Most of the time, this delay is so small that it does not matter. When you look at someone sitting across from you, the light from their face takes only a tiny fraction of a second to reach your eyes. The delay is measured in nanoseconds, which is a word for a billionth of a second. That is so fast that it makes no practical difference. You cannot feel it. You cannot notice it. The person seems to be there, right now, speaking and moving and existing in the same moment as you. But the delay is still there. It is always there. It cannot be avoided, no matter how close you are to something, no matter how bright the light, no matter how clear the air between you and whatever you are looking at. Light has a speed, and that speed is finite, and because it is finite, there is always a gap between when something happens and when you see it happen. This is not a flaw in the universe. It is not a mistake or a limitation that could be fixed with better technology or more careful observation. It is a fundamental property of how reality works. Light is the fastest thing there is, and nothing can go faster. Not messages, not signals, not information of any kind. And so the delay that comes from light having to travel is not something that can ever be overcome. It is built into the fabric of existence itself. The speed of light is very fast by any human standard. It travels at roughly 300,000 kilometers every second. If you could somehow travel at that speed, you could circle the entire Earth more than 7 times in the span of a single heartbeat. You could reach the moon in just over a second. You could travel from one end of a continent to another in the time it takes to blink. And yet, even at this incredible speed, light still takes time to travel. It takes time to cross a room. It takes time to cross a city. It takes time to cross a planet, or a solar system, or the vast dark spaces between galaxies. And because it takes time, everything we see is already in the past by the time we see it. Let us start with something familiar: the Sun, the star at the center of our solar system, the source of warmth and light and life on Earth, the bright circle in the sky that rises and sets and shapes our days and seasons. When you see the sun, when you feel its light on your face, when you watch it climb above the horizon in the morning or sink below it in the evening, you are not seeing it as it is right now. You are seeing it as it was about 8 minutes ago. 8 minutes. That is how long it takes for light to travel from the surface of the sun to where you are standing or sitting or lying right now. 150 million kilometers of empty space crossed at 300,000 kilometers per second, and still it takes 8 whole minutes. Think about what this means. In the time between when the sun did something and when you saw it do that thing, you could make a cup of tea. You could have a short conversation. You could walk down the street to check your mail and come back. Entire moments of your life could pass in that gap, and you would have no way of knowing what the sun was actually doing during any of them. If something dramatic happened to the sun, if it suddenly went out, if it changed in some fundamental way, you would not know for 8 minutes. You would still see the old sun, the sun that used to be, the sun from 8 minutes in the past, shining calmly in your sky as though nothing had changed. The universe would already be different, but you would not know yet. You would be living in a world that no longer existed, and the only thing that would feel different is nothing. This is strange to think about. We are used to the idea that seeing is immediate, that when we look at something, we are seeing it now, as it exists in the present moment. But the sun disproves this every single day, simply by being so far away that its light takes a measurable amount of time to reach us. We are always looking at a ghost of the sun, a memory of where it was and how it looked 8 minutes before our present moment. And the sun is close, relatively speaking. In terms of cosmic distances, it is practically next door. It is the nearest star to Earth, the one star that we orbit around, the one that shapes our existence more than any other object in the universe. And even this nearest, most intimate, most essential star is 8 minutes away in terms of light travel time. Now let us look farther. Beyond the sun, beyond the inner planets, beyond the asteroid belt and the gas giants, and the icy reaches of the outer solar system, there is an enormous amount of empty space. And then eventually, there are other stars. The nearest one, after our own sun, is a small red star called Proxima Centauri. It is part of a triple star system, 3 stars bound together by gravity, dancing slowly around each other in the darkness. Proxima Centauri is about 4 light years away. A light year is simply the distance that light travels in 1 year. It is a measure of distance, not time, even though it has the word year in it. And 4 light years is an almost incomprehensibly large distance. It is about 40 trillion kilometers. If you could drive a car at highway speed without stopping, it would take you about 50 million years to get there. But what matters for our purposes is not how long it would take to travel there. What matters is how long it takes for light to travel here. And the answer is 4 years. When you look at Proxima Centauri, assuming you could see it with your naked eye, which you cannot because it is too dim, you would be seeing light that left that star 4 years ago. You would be looking at the past. Not the recent past, like with the sun, but the actual past. 4 years of events would have happened since that light began its journey, and you would know nothing about any of them. This is where the idea starts to feel different. 8 minutes is short enough that it does not really change how we think about the sun. We still feel like we are seeing it in the present, even if technically we are not. But 4 years is different. 4 years is a significant amount of time. Things happen in 4 years. People are born and people die. Wars begin and end. Technologies are invented. Relationships form and dissolve. The world changes in 4 years. And yet, if you were looking at Proxima Centauri right now, you would have no idea what had happened there in the last 4 years. You would be seeing an old image, a frozen moment from the past, with no way to know what came after. The star could have changed dramatically. It could have flared up or dimmed down. It could have been struck by something, and you would not find out for 4 more years when the light from those events finally arrived. Here is something worth sitting with. The night sky is not a photograph of the universe as it exists right now. It is more like a collection of photographs from different times, all displayed together, all arriving at your eyes in the same moment, even though they were taken at wildly different moments. Every star you see represents a different point in the past. Some are nearby, and you are seeing them as they were just a few years ago. Others are farther away, and you are seeing them as they were decades, or centuries, or millennia ago. When you look up at the night sky, you are not looking at a single moment in time. You are looking at a kind of collage, a mosaic made of light from countless different eras, all mixed together into what seems like a single view. It feels like one picture, but it is actually many pictures layered on top of each other, each one showing a different slice of history. Consider a star like Vega, which is one of the brightest stars visible from Earth. It is about 25 light-years away. When you look at Vega, you are seeing it as it was 25 years ago. If you are old enough, you can think back to what you were doing 25 years ago and realize that the light you are seeing left Vega at that time. It has been traveling through space ever since, crossing the vast emptiness between stars, and it is only now reaching your eyes. Or consider Polaris, the North Star. It is about 400 light-years away. When you look at Polaris, you are seeing light that left that star around the year 1600, give or take. Shakespeare was alive when that light began its journey. The Pilgrims had not yet landed in America. The scientific revolution was just beginning. And all this time, that light has been traveling, crossing the darkness, carrying an image of a star that no longer looks exactly the way it did when the light left. This feels strange, does it not? To look at something and know that you are not seeing it as it is, but as it was. To realize that the thing you are looking at might have changed completely since the light left, and you would have no way of knowing. It is a kind of cosmic time travel, except you are not traveling into the past. The past is traveling to you, one photon at a time, carrying messages from moments that have already vanished. And here is where things get even stranger. Some of the stars you can see in the night sky might not exist anymore. Let me say that again, because it is worth letting it sink in. Some of the stars you can see, the ones that appear to be burning and shining and fixed in their places, might have already died. They might have exploded, or collapsed, or burned out, or transformed into something else entirely. And you would not know. You cannot know, because the light from their death has not reached you yet. You are still seeing the old light, the light from when they were alive, and you will keep seeing that light until the news of their death finally arrives. This is not speculation. This is how the universe actually works. Stars have lifespans. They are born, they burn, and eventually they die. Some die quietly, fading away over billions of years. Others die violently, exploding in brilliant flashes that outshine entire galaxies for a brief moment before going dark. And for any star that is far enough away, we would not find out about its death until long after it happened. Consider a star like Betelgeuse, the bright reddish star in the constellation Orion. Betelgeuse is a red supergiant, which means it is near the end of its life. It is expected to explode as a supernova sometime in the next 100,000 years or so, which in astronomical terms is very soon. When it does explode, it will be one of the most spectacular events visible from Earth, bright enough to see during the day, bright enough to cast shadows at night. But here is the thing. Betelgeuse is about 700 light-years away. which means that if Betelgeuse exploded right now, at this exact moment, you would not find out for 700 years. The explosion would happen, the star would die, and the light from that explosion would begin its long journey toward Earth. And for the next 7 centuries, you and everyone after you would continue to see Betelgeuse in the sky, looking exactly the same as it always has, giving no hint of the catastrophe that had already occurred. For all we know, Betelgeuse might have exploded already. It might have happened 600 years ago, or 500 years ago, or last week. The light from the explosion might already be on its way, racing toward us through the darkness, carrying the news of a death that happened long before anyone alive today was born. We would have no way of knowing until it arrived. This is the ghost star idea. The notion that the night sky is populated not just by living stars, but by the images of stars that have already ceased to exist. Some of those pinpricks of light you see when you look up might be tombstones, markers of places where stars used to be before they died. You are seeing their ghosts, their after images, the light they emitted in their final moments or their final eras, still travelling through space long after the source has gone. It is a strange kind of haunting, not the kind with chains and cold spots and mysterious noises in the night, but a cosmic haunting, a haunting by light, by information, by the delayed arrival of events that happened far away and long ago. The night sky is full of ghosts, and we look at them every time we look up, and we have no way of knowing which ones are still alive and which ones are merely memories. How do you feel about that? Does it change anything, knowing that some of what you see might no longer exist? Does it make the stars seem less real, or somehow more precious? There is no right answer to that question. It is just something to sit with, something to let settle into your understanding of what it means to look at the universe. Let us go even farther now, beyond the individual stars, beyond the familiar constellations, beyond the band of the Milky Way stretching across the sky. Out there, in the deep darkness between the stars we can see, there are other galaxies, billions of them, each one containing hundreds of billions of stars of their own. Each one a vast island of light and matter, separated from the others by unimaginable distances. The nearest large galaxy to our own is called Andromeda. You can actually see it with your naked eye on a clear, dark night if you know where to look. It appears as a faint smudge of light, a tiny blur in the constellation that shares its name. It does not look like much. It looks like a cloud, or a distant fog, or maybe just a trick of the eye. But that faint smudge is actually the combined light of 1 trillion stars, all blended together by the sheer distance between us and them. Andromeda is about 2.5 million light-years away. 2.5 million. When you look at Andromeda, you are seeing light that left that galaxy 2.5 million years ago. You are looking into the past so deep that it predates the existence of modern humans. Our ancestors at that time were not yet walking upright. They had not yet developed language, or tools, or fire, or any of the things that would eventually make us who we are. The light you see when you look at Andromeda is older than humanity itself. Think about that. The image of Andromeda that you see is an image from before humans existed. It is an image from a time when the Earth was populated by creatures that would be unrecognizable to us, when the continents were in slightly different positions, when the climate was different and the ecosystems were different, and nothing resembling a human being had ever lived. That light has been travelling ever since, crossing the void between galaxies, and it is only now, in this moment, reaching your eyes. And Andromeda is close, as galaxies go. It is our neighbour. It is the nearest large galaxy to our own. Beyond Andromeda, there are countless other galaxies, each one farther away, each one representing an even more ancient moment in time. The deeper we look into space, the farther back in time we see. There are galaxies so far away that the light we receive from them today left when the universe itself was young. We are talking about billions of years, not millions but billions. Light that has been travelling for longer than the Earth has existed, longer than the Sun has existed, longer than most of the stars in our own galaxy have existed. We are seeing these galaxies as they were in the earliest epochs of cosmic history, when the universe was still forming, still settling into the shapes and structures that would eventually give rise to stars and planets, and somewhere along the way, to us. This is perhaps the most profound implication of the speed of light being finite. When we look at the universe, we are not just looking at distant objects, we are looking at the past. The farther away something is, the further into the past we are seeing. And this means that the universe is, in a sense, a kind of time machine. Every telescope is a time machine. Every observation of a distant object is a glimpse into history. When astronomers take pictures of distant galaxies, they are not taking pictures of those galaxies as they are now. They are taking pictures of those galaxies as they were billions of years ago. They are capturing light that has been travelling since before the Earth formed, since before life began, since before the atoms in your body were forged in the hearts of ancient stars. The images we have of the distant universe are images of a past that no longer exists, preserved only in the light that has been making its way toward us all this time. And here is something else to consider. Those distant galaxies have been changing all this time. They have been evolving, growing, merging with other galaxies, forming new stars and losing old ones. The galaxies we see in our deepest images might not even exist anymore, not in the form we see them. They might have changed beyond recognition. They might have merged with other galaxies to form something entirely different. They might have been torn apart by cosmic collisions, or swallowed by black holes, or transformed in ways we cannot even imagine. We have no way of knowing what they look like now. We can only see what they looked like then, when the light left. The present state of those galaxies is hidden from us, locked away behind the delay of light, and it will remain hidden until enough time has passed for the light from their current state to reach us, which for the most distant galaxies means billions more years. This is a strange kind of ignorance to sit with. We are used to the idea that if we want to know what something looks like, we can just look at it. We are used to the assumption that seeing something tells us about its current state. But the universe does not work that way. Seeing something tells us about its past state, and the further away it is, the more distant that past becomes. Let us bring this back down to Earth for a moment. Let us think about the ways that delay shows up in everyday life, even when the distances are much smaller and the delays are much shorter. Sound, for example, has a speed. It is much slower than light, travelling at only about 340 meters per second in air at sea level. This is fast enough that in most situations we do not notice the delay. When someone speaks to you from across a room, the sound reaches you so quickly that it seems instantaneous. But when the distances get larger, the delay becomes noticeable. Think about watching fireworks. You see the explosion in the sky, the burst of colour and light spreading outward, and then, a moment later, you hear the boom. The light reached you almost instantly, but the sound had to travel, and because the fireworks were far away, the sound took a noticeable amount of time to arrive. You are seeing one moment and hearing another, earlier moment. The delay is obvious enough that you can feel it. Or think about thunder and lightning. When lightning strikes in the distance, you see the flash immediately. The light reaches you at the speed of light, which for earthly distances is essentially instantaneous. But the sound takes longer. If the lightning is about a mile away, the thunder will take roughly 5 seconds to reach you. If it is farther, it takes longer. You can count the seconds between the flash and the boom to estimate how far away the storm is. What you are experiencing in those moments is a small-scale version of what happens with the stars. You are seeing one moment and hearing another. The information is arriving at different times because it is traveling at different speeds. And if you were somehow able to look at lightning from a much greater distance, the delay would be even more pronounced even for the light. Consider also the phone calls and video chats that connect us across the world. When you talk to someone on the other side of the planet, there is a delay. Not from the speed of light itself, which would only add a tiny fraction of a second, but from the various processes involved in transmitting the signal. Satellites and servers and signal processing all add small delays, and they accumulate. You might notice a slight lag, a moment where you start talking at the same time as the other person because neither of you realized the other was about to speak. That lag is a reminder that communication takes time. Information does not travel instantly, even with our fastest technologies. And the universe itself imposes a hard limit on how fast any information can travel, which is the speed of light. No matter what technologies we develop, no matter how clever our engineering becomes, we can never get information from one place to another faster than light can travel. The delay is fundamental. Here is another everyday example of delay that you might not have thought about. Mirrors. When you look in a mirror, you are seeing light that has bounced off your face, travelled to the mirror, bounced off the mirror, and travelled back to your eyes. That light has to make a round trip, and that round trip takes time. The time is incredibly small. For a mirror that is 1 meter away, the round trip for light takes about 6 nanoseconds, 6 billionths of a second. You cannot perceive anything that fast. Your brain cannot process time intervals that small. So it feels like you are seeing yourself in real time, but you are not. You are seeing yourself 6 nanoseconds in the past. Admittedly, not much has happened in those 6 nanoseconds. Your face has not changed. Your expression has not shifted. Nothing noticeable has occurred. But technically, in the strictest sense, you are not seeing the present. You are seeing the past. The very recent past, but the past nonetheless. Now imagine a mirror that was much farther away. A mirror on the moon, perhaps. The moon is about 380,000 kilometers from Earth. If you shone a powerful laser at a mirror on the moon, and that mirror reflected the light back to you, the round trip would take about 2.5 seconds. If you were looking at yourself in that mirror, you would be seeing yourself as you were more than a second ago. You would see your past self, frozen in the moment when the light left, before it made its long journey to the moon and back. This is not just a thought experiment. There are actually mirrors on the moon, left there by the Apollo astronauts and robotic missions. Scientists regularly bounce lasers off them to measure the distance to the moon with extreme precision. Every time they do this, they are sending light into the past and receiving a message from a moment that has already gone. Photographs are another form of frozen light, another way that we capture and preserve moments from the past. When you take a photograph, you are recording the light that arrived at a particular instant. You are freezing time, in a way, capturing a slice of the past and making it permanent. But notice that even the moment you capture in a photograph is not a single unified moment. If you take a picture of a landscape with mountains in the distance and flowers in the foreground, the light from the mountains has travelled farther than the light from the flowers. The mountain light is older. It left earlier. So even within a single photograph, you are capturing light from different moments, though the difference is so small that it does not matter for any practical purpose. If you were to take a photograph of the night sky, though, the differences would be enormous. A single photograph of the stars would contain light that left its sources at wildly different times. Some of that light would be just a few years old. Some of it would be hundreds of years old. Some of it, from the faintest and most distant objects, would be millions or billions of years old. The photograph would be a collage of cosmic history, a mixing of moments that span an almost incomprehensible range of time. We do not usually think about any of this. We take seeing for granted. We assume that when we look at something, we are seeing it as it is, right now, in the present moment. And for most of our daily lives, that assumption works well enough. The delays are so small that they do not affect us. We can treat seeing as instantaneous without ever being wrong in any way that matters. But the universe is bigger than our daily lives. It extends far beyond the familiar rooms and streets and landscapes where nanosecond delays make no difference. And when we start looking outward, when we start paying attention to the stars and galaxies and the vast spaces between them, the delays become meaningful. They become central to how we understand what we are seeing. The night sky is not the present. It is a museum, a gallery, a collection of artifacts from different eras, all displayed together, all visible at once. When you look up, you are looking at history. You are seeing the universe not as it is, but as it was, in countless different moments stretching back through time. Is there something sad about this? Some people feel that way. They feel a kind of melancholy when they realize that they can never see the universe as it actually is right now. That they are always behind, always receiving old news, always looking at ghosts and memories instead of living things. There is a loneliness to it, a sense of being cut off from the reality of the cosmos, forever observing from a distance, forever receiving messages from the past. But there is another way to see it. And maybe, if you sit with it long enough, this other way will feel truer, or at least more comforting. The fact that light takes time to travel is not a limitation. It is a gift. It is the only reason we can see anything at all. Think about it. If light traveled instantly, if there were no delay, what would that even mean? It would mean that information could cross any distance without any time passing. It would mean that the universe had no structure, no separation, no meaningful sense of distance or space. Everything would be connected to everything else in a single undifferentiated instant. There would be no journey for light to make, no travel time to measure, no sense of farness or nearness. The fact that light takes time is what gives the universe its shape. It is what makes distance meaningful. It is what allows things to be separate, to be distinct, to exist in their own locations and have their own histories. Without the finite speed of light, there would be no universe as we know it. There would be no space to look across, no time to look back through, no stories to be told by the arrival of ancient light. And there is something else. The delay of light is what allows us to look into the past, not just metaphorically, but actually. We can see what the universe looked like billions of years ago, simply by looking at things that are billions of light years away. We can study the early cosmos, the formation of galaxies, the evolution of stars, the history of the universe itself, all because light preserves the past and delivers it to us across the ages. If we could see only the present, we would know nothing about where we came from. We would be trapped in a single moment, with no access to history, no way to understand how things came to be the way they are. The delay of light is what gives us memory, cosmic memory, a record of everything that has ever happened within the reach of our telescopes. So yes, we are always looking at the past. Yes, we are always late observers, receiving news that is old by the time it arrives. Yes, some of the stars we see might no longer exist, and we would not know until the news of their death finally reaches us. But this is not a tragedy. It is simply how the universe works, and it is the same mechanism that allows us to see anything at all, to know anything about the cosmos beyond our own small world. There is a certain peace that can come from accepting this, from letting go of the desire to see the present, to know everything as it is right now. The universe is too big for that. The distances are too vast. the light has too far to travel. And so we do what we can, which is to look at what arrives, to study what the light tells us, to piece together stories from messages that have been traveling for longer than we can easily imagine. When you look up at the night sky, you are not seeing a failure. You are not seeing a limitation. You are seeing the universe generously sharing its history with you, sending you messages from the past, inviting you to witness moments that happened long ago and far away. Every star is a letter, every photon is a word, and the sky is full of stories waiting to be read. Let us think about what this means for the question of now. What does now even mean when we are talking about the universe at these scales? For most of human history, people assumed that now was the same everywhere, that there was a universal present moment, a single instant that was happening simultaneously across the entire cosmos. The now here on Earth was the same now on the Moon, the same now on the Sun, the same now in distant galaxies. Time was absolute, the same everywhere, ticking away at the same rate for everyone and everything. But the finite speed of light complicates this picture. If information cannot travel faster than light, then there is no way to know what is happening now somewhere far away. By the time you receive any news from a distant place, that news is already old. You can never compare your now with someone else's now if they are far enough away, because any comparison you make will be based on outdated information. This leads to a strange conclusion. The idea of a universal now, a single present moment spanning the entire universe, might not make sense. It might be a concept that only works on small scales, where the delays are negligible, and breaks down when you start thinking about cosmic distances. What is happening on a planet orbiting a star 400 light-years away right now at this exact moment? The honest answer is that we cannot know. We cannot even meaningfully ask the question, because by the time any information from that planet could reach us, 400 years will have passed. Our now and their now are separated by an unbridgeable gap, a gulf of space and time that prevents any direct comparison. This does not mean that now does not exist. It does not mean that the present moment is an illusion. It just means that now is local. Your now is here, where you are, in this moment, surrounded by the things that are close enough for you to interact with in a meaningful way. Beyond a certain distance, the concept of now starts to lose its grip, and all that remains is the past, arriving slowly, one ray of light at a time. Some people find this unsettling. They want there to be a universal present, a cosmic now that connects everything and everyone. They want to believe that when they look at a star, they are seeing what it is doing right now, that they are connected to it in the present tense, that they share a moment with it. But the universe does not seem to work that way. And maybe that is okay. Maybe it is enough to share a moment with the things that are close to us, the things within our reach, the things we can touch and hear and see without waiting for the light to arrive. Maybe the universe is not meant to be experienced all at once in a single present moment. Maybe it is meant to be experienced in layers, with different pasts arriving at different times, weaving together into something that feels like now even though it is made of countless different thens. Here is something to consider. Every person you have ever looked at, every face you have ever seen, has been seen in the past. The light from their face had to travel to your eyes, and that took time. When you looked at them, you were seeing them as they were a tiny fraction of a second earlier. Their present moment was always just slightly ahead of what you saw. This is true even for the people closest to you. When you look into the eyes of someone you love, you are looking at the past. Not the distant past, not the meaningfully distant past, but the past nonetheless. You are never quite seeing the present. You are always catching up, always receiving updates from a moment that has already slipped away. Does this change anything about how you see them? Probably not. The delay is so small that it has no practical significance. You can still make eye contact, still share a moment, still feel connected. The gap is too tiny to notice or to care about, but it is a reminder that even the most intimate experiences of seeing and being seen involve delay. The universe does not make exceptions for love or closeness. Light travels at a finite speed everywhere, in every direction, between all things. The delay is always there, even when it is too small to matter. Let us return to the night sky. Let us think about what it would be like to really understand what we are seeing when we look up at the stars. Imagine you are outside on a clear night, far from city lights, with the full canopy of the sky visible above you. The stars are out, thousands of them, maybe millions if you include the faint ones at the edge of visibility. The Milky Way stretches across the sky like a river of light, marking the plane of our galaxy. Now imagine that each star is labelled with its distance. Next to each pinprick of light, you see a number telling you how far away it is, how many light years separate you from that star. Some are close, just a few light years. Others are hundreds of light years. Others are thousands. The numbers vary wildly, even among stars that appear close together in the sky. Those numbers are also telling you how old the light is. A star that is 50 light years away is showing you light that is 50 years old. A star that is 500 light years away is showing you light that is 500 years old. The distance and the time are the same measurement, expressed in different units. So as you look at the sky with these imaginary labels, you are also seeing labels for time. This star is showing you the year 50 years ago. This one is showing you the year 500 years ago. This one, the faint one over there, is showing you a time before the Roman Empire fell. That one, the even fainter one, is showing you a time before the pyramids were built. The sky becomes a timeline. Not a horizontal timeline stretching from left to right, but a three-dimensional timeline radiating outward from where you stand. The closer stars are showing you the recent past. The farther stars are showing you the deeper past. And everything you see is a message from history, a beam of light carrying information about a moment that has already vanished. If you could see even farther, if your eyes could detect the faint light from distant galaxies, the timeline would extend even further back. You would be seeing the universe as it was millions of years ago, billions of years ago, long before anything recognizable existed on Earth. The sky would be a window into deep time, a portal to eras so ancient that they are almost impossible to comprehend. This is what astronomers do, in a sense. They use telescopes to see farther than the naked eye can see, and in doing so, they see further back in time. Every improvement in telescope technology, every increase in sensitivity or resolution, opens up a deeper layer of the past. We have now built telescopes that can see almost all the way back to the beginning, to the earliest light that is still traveling through the universe, light that was emitted just a few 100 million years after the Big Bang. That light has been traveling for over 13 billion years. It has crossed distances so vast that they defy any attempt at visualization. And when it finally arrives at our telescopes, it shows us a universe that no longer exists, a cosmos in its infancy, still forming, still taking shape, still far from the universe we know today. We are latecomers to this light. We are receiving messages that were sent before the Earth existed, before the sun existed, before most of the stars in the sky existed. We are eavesdropping on history, listening in on moments that happened so long ago that the very concept of so long ago starts to lose its meaning. There is something humbling about this. We are small and the universe is vast. We are brief and the universe is ancient. We are here for just a moment, a flicker of consciousness on a tiny planet orbiting an ordinary star, and the light we see has been traveling since before we were possible. But there is also something wonderful about it. We are here. We exist. We can look up and see the light. We can think about what it means, where it came from, how long it traveled. We are part of the universe looking at itself, a small fragment of the cosmos that has become aware of the cosmos, that has developed the ability to receive these ancient messages and try to understand them. The universe did not have to produce beings that could do this. There is no law of physics that requires consciousness, no rule that says matter must eventually learn to wonder about itself. And yet here we are, looking up at the stars, marveling at the delay, feeling the strangeness of seeing the past. Let us think about communication for a moment, about the implications of light having a speed limit for anyone who might want to send a message across the universe. Imagine that intelligent beings exist somewhere else in the cosmos. This is not a certainty, but it is a possibility that many people find compelling. The universe is enormous, with billions of galaxies each containing billions of stars. It seems at least plausible that somewhere, somehow, other forms of life might have arisen. Other minds might have developed. Other beings might be looking up at their own skies and wondering about the same things we wonder about. If such beings exist, and if they wanted to communicate with us, how would they do it? The most obvious answer is light. Radio waves, which are a form of light, are how we send most of our own long-distance messages. We broadcast radio and television signals into space. We send messages to our spacecraft and receive messages back. We use radio telescopes to listen for signals that might have originated elsewhere. But any message sent by light, no matter how carefully aimed or how powerful the transmitter, would be subject to the same delay as any other light. A message from a star system 10 light-years away would take 10 years to arrive. A message from a galaxy 1,000,000 light-years away would take 1,000,000 years. The delay is inescapable. This means that communication across the cosmos, if it happens at all, would be unimaginably slow by human standards. A simple exchange of greetings between two civilizations on opposite sides of a galaxy could take 100,000 years. A conversation of the kind we have every day, with back and forth responses and evolving topics, would be essentially impossible. By the time a reply arrived, the original sender might have been dead for millennia. We sometimes imagine alien contact as a dramatic event, a sudden message from the stars, a voice breaking through the cosmic silence to say hello. But the reality of light speed means that any such message would be very old by the time it arrived. We would not be hearing from our contemporaries in another star system. We would be hearing from the past, from beings who sent their message long ago and might no longer exist by the time we receive it. In a sense, we are already receiving messages from the past every time we look at the night sky. The light itself is information. It tells us about the composition of stars, their temperature, their motion, their age, their history. We read these messages without even trying, simply by observing the light that arrives. The universe is constantly talking to us, constantly sending information about itself, and all of it is old news by the time it gets here. If we ever do receive a deliberate message from another intelligence, we would be in a strange position. We would know that someone out there had the capability and the desire to send a message. We would have proof that we are not alone in the universe, but we would have no idea whether they still exist, whether they have evolved beyond recognition, whether they would even remember sending the message that we received. We would be connected to them across time, but not across the present. We would be pen pals with ghosts, correspondents from different epochs, exchanging letters that take generations to arrive. Some scientists have proposed sending messages into space, deliberately broadcasting our presence in hopes that someone might hear. This is a controversial idea, with debates about whether it is wise to announce ourselves to unknown listeners. But whatever the risks or benefits, any response we might receive would come from the future, from a time we cannot see yet, from beings who would be receiving our message long after we sent it. The speed of light creates a kind of isolation. Not an absolute isolation, not a complete barrier, but a separation that means we can never fully share the present with the rest of the universe. We are each of us embedded in our own pocket of now, surrounded by a bubble of the recent past, connected to more distant places only through messages that take time to arrive. This might sound lonely, and in some ways it is. We cannot call across the stars and hear an immediate response. We cannot video conference with other galaxies. We cannot know what is happening out there right now at this very moment. The universe keeps its secrets for exactly as long as it takes light to travel from there to here. But within our own bubble, within the narrow region of space where the delays are small enough to ignore, we have each other. We have our planet, our communities, our relationships, our lives. We can talk and listen and respond in something that feels like real time, even if technically it is not. We can share moments with the people and places that are close to us, building connections that do not have to wait millions of years to form. And beyond that bubble, we have the past, the accumulated history of the universe, arriving constantly, filling our sky with light from countless different moments. We cannot be there, but we can see what was there. We cannot touch the stars, but we can watch their stories unfold across time. We are not isolated so much as we are embedded, woven into a vast tapestry of light and time, receiving threads from the past and sending threads into the future. Let us think about what happens when we send light outward. When we turn on a lamp or light a fire, or even just exist as warm bodies radiating infrared light. That light does not just illuminate our immediate surroundings, it also travels outward, into the darkness, into space. Most of it is absorbed or scattered before it gets very far. The atmosphere blocks some of it, buildings and trees and hills block more, but some of it escapes. Some fraction of the light we generate makes it past all the obstacles and continues outward into the universe, traveling at the speed of light, carrying information about us into the future. In 100 years, light that left Earth today will be 100 light years away. It will have passed by several dozen nearby stars. Any beings in that region with sufficiently sensitive instruments could, in principle, detect it. They could analyze it, learn about the Earth, perhaps even detect the signs of life or civilization. They would be receiving old news, of course, 100 years old, but it would be news nonetheless. In 1,000 years, light from Earth will be 1,000 light years away. It will have passed by millions of stars. The sphere of our light will have expanded enormously, encompassing a significant portion of the galaxy. We would not know who, if anyone, was watching. But our light would be out there, travelling, carrying whatever information about us it happens to carry. The earliest radio signals sent by humans, from the dawn of radio technology over a century ago, have now travelled over 100 light years from Earth. They are faint, and they are mixed with a lot of natural noise, and any intelligent beings trying to detect them would have a hard time picking them out from the cosmic static. But they are out there. They are still travelling. They will never stop unless something absorbs them. In a sense, we are already ghosts in the sky of other worlds. Anyone looking at the sun from a distant star system is seeing a star that may or may not still have a civilization around it. They cannot know. They are seeing our past just as we are seeing theirs. We are all of us sending light into each other's futures, becoming images in each other's skies, taking our places in each other's museums of the past. This might be the strangest part of all. We think of ourselves as present, as here, as now. We feel like we exist in the current moment, solid and real and contemporary. But to the rest of the universe, we are already history. We are already ghosts. We are already the past, arriving slowly at destinations we will never know. Someone looking at the sun from Proxima Centauri right now is seeing the sun as it was 4 years ago. They do not see us at all because the sun's light drowns out any light from Earth. But if they could somehow filter out the sun and look at Earth itself, they would see the Earth from 4 years ago. They would see a planet that is already in the past. They would be watching history, not the present. From their perspective, we are the ghosts. We are the ancient images. We are the light that left long ago and is only now arriving. They would have no idea what is happening on Earth right now, and they would not find out for another 4 years when the light from this moment finally reaches them. The universe is full of these crossed perspectives, these overlapping pasts, these mutual hauntings. We look at them and see their past. They look at us and see our past. No one sees anyone's present. No one shares a moment across the cosmic distances. Everything is layers of history, intersecting and overlapping, each point in space embedded in a web of light from everywhere else. Let us take a breath here. Let us pause and let all of this settle. We have covered a lot of ground, from the delay of light in everyday life to the vast stretches of time that separate us from distant galaxies. We have thought about ghost stars and ancient images and the impossibility of seeing the present at cosmic scales. We have considered what all of this might mean for communication, for isolation, for our place in the universe. It is a lot to take in, and if you are feeling a little overwhelmed, or a little sad, or a little lost, that is understandable. These are not easy ideas to sit with. They challenge our intuitions about reality, about time, about what it means to see and be seen. But let me suggest another perspective, a gentler way of thinking about all of this. The fact that we are seeing the past is not a loss. It is not a deprivation. It is in fact a kind of gift. Think about what it would mean if we could see the present, everywhere, all at once. It would mean that the universe had no depth, no history, no unfolding. Everything would be flattened into a single moment, and that moment would be all there is. There would be no story, no progression, no sense of things changing over time. But because light takes time to travel, the universe has texture. It has layers. The closer things are to us, the more recent our view. The farther things are, the older our view. Distance and time are woven together, creating a 4-dimensional tapestry that we can actually look at, that we can study and explore and try to understand. When we look at a distant galaxy, we are not just seeing a faraway place. We are seeing an earlier time. We are getting a glimpse of how things used to be, how the universe evolved, how everything came to be the way it is. The delay of light is what makes cosmic history visible. Without it, we would be blind to the past. We would know only the present, and the present by itself tells us almost nothing. So instead of mourning the impossibility of seeing the universe as it is right now, we can celebrate the ability to see the universe as it was. We can appreciate the fact that the night sky is a time machine, that every photon is a message from history, that we are surrounded by ancient light carrying stories from across the ages. The universe is sharing itself with us. It is opening its photo album, showing us images from its childhood, its adolescence, its long journey toward the present. We are the lucky recipients of all this history, the beneficiaries of a cosmos that cannot help but send us news of its past. There is something poetic about this, something almost intimate. The light that reaches our eyes has been traveling for so long, across such vast distances just to be seen. It has survived the journey through the void, the expansion of the universe, the endless darkness between stars. And at the end of its journey, it finds us. A pair of eyes on a small planet orbiting an ordinary star, looking up at the night sky and wondering, what are the odds that this particular photon, from this particular star, from this particular moment in the past, would end its journey in your eye? What are the odds that all the things that had to happen for you to exist would happen, and all the things that had to happen for that photon to travel its path would happen, and then, at the end of it all, you would happen to look up at just the right moment and catch it? The universe is full of these improbable meetings. Every glance at the night sky is a reunion between you and light that has been traveling since before you were born, since before your parents were born, since before anything you recognize as history had started. You are the end point of a journey that began unimaginably long ago, and you receive these ancient travelers without even thinking about it. Let us think about what this means for the concept of being present, being here, now, in this moment. We often talk about presence as if it were simple, as if being present means being fully aware of what is happening right now, in this instant, without distraction or wandering. And for our everyday lives, this is a useful way to think about it. Being present means paying attention to the people around you, to the sensations in your body, to the details of the world within arm's reach. But what the speed of light teaches us is that presence is always limited, always local, always bounded by the time it takes for information to travel. You can be fully present to the things that are close to you, the things whose light arrives fast enough to feel instantaneous. But you cannot be present to the distant stars, or the far galaxies, or the events happening on the other side of the universe. Those things exist in a different kind of time, a time that does not overlap with yours, a time that you can only access through the delayed arrival of their light. This is not a failure of presence. It is simply what presence means in a universe governed by the speed of light. You are present where you are, when you are, and that is all you can be. The rest of the universe is out there, happening, but it is not happening in your present. It is happening in its own present, and the only connection between those presents is the slow exchange of light. Perhaps this is liberating, in a way. It means you do not have to worry about what is happening everywhere all at once. You cannot know, so you do not need to try. Your responsibility, if you have one, is to the here and now, to the moment you are actually in, to the small sphere of space where the light arrives fast enough for you to respond. The rest of the universe will take care of itself. It has been doing so for billions of years, and it will continue to do so long after we are gone. We are guests in a vast cosmos, observers of a story that began before us and will continue after us. And our role is simply to be here, now, paying attention to what we can see, appreciating the light that arrives. Let us think about appreciation for a moment, about what it means to truly appreciate the light that fills our world. We are surrounded by light. During the day, sunlight floods in through windows, illuminates our rooms, warms our skin. At night, we turn on lamps and screens, creating our own pools of light in the darkness. Light is so constant, so ubiquitous, that we rarely stop to think about it. It is simply there, the medium through which we see, the carrier of everything visible. But that light has travelled to reach us. Even the light from a lamp across the room has made a journey, a very short journey, but a journey nonetheless. It left the bulb, crossed the space between, and entered your eyes. In that crossing, it carried information about the lamp, about its colour and brightness and position. You received that information, processed it, and formed a perception of a lamp sitting across the room. The light from the sun, as we discussed, made a much longer journey. 8 minutes of travel through the vacuum of space, covering 150 million kilometres just to reach your window. That light started as energy in the core of the sun, generated by nuclear reactions that fuse hydrogen into helium. It then spent thousands of years bouncing around inside the sun, slowly making its way to the surface. And finally, it erupted from the surface and began its straight-line journey to Earth. By the time that light reaches you, it has been through quite an adventure. It has travelled from the heart of a star to the surface of a planet, crossing an enormous distance in what is, by cosmic standards, a very short time. And now it is here, warming your face, lighting your room, allowing you to see. And the light from distant stars has travelled even further. Years, centuries, millennia. Across distances so vast that they can only be expressed in units that are themselves defined by light travel time. That light has been out there in the darkness, travelling, 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 and now it has arrived. Now it is in your eye. Now you are seeing it. There is something miraculous about this, if you let yourself feel it. You are the destination of a journey that has been going on for an impossibly long time. You are the end point, the receiver, the one who finally catches the light and makes sense of it. Every photon that enters your eye has a story, a history, a path that it took through the cosmos. And now, for one brief moment, that story intersects with yours. We rarely think about light this way. We think of it as a resource, a tool, a means to an end. We want light so we can see, so we can read, so we can navigate our world. We do not usually think about the light itself, about its journey, about the fact that it has been travelling toward us for however long it took to get here. But maybe we should. Maybe there is value in pausing, once in a while, to appreciate the light, to acknowledge its journey, to feel gratitude for the fact that it arrived at all, that it found us in the vastness of space, that it brought us news of places and times we could never experience any other way. The night sky is full of gifts, ancient light delivered across the ages, carrying images and information and stories. We are the recipients of this cosmic generosity, this endless outpouring of photons from countless sources, all of it streaming toward us, all of it available for us to see if we just look up. Let us think about time for a moment, about the strange relationship between time and distance that the speed of light creates. In our everyday lives, we think of time and distance as separate things. Distance is how far away something is in space. Time is how long ago something happened, or how long it takes for something to occur. They seem like different categories, different ways of measuring the world. But the speed of light ties them together. Because light always travels at the same speed, distance and time become interchangeable. If something is 100 light years away, then seeing it means seeing it as it was 100 years ago. The distance and the time delay are the same number, expressed in different units. This is why astronomers use light years as a unit of distance. It sounds like a unit of time, and in a sense it is. A light year is the distance that light travels in 1 year, but it is also, equivalently, the amount of time it takes for light to travel that distance. When we say something is 50 light years away, we are also saying that we are seeing it 50 years in the past. This connection between distance and time creates what some people call the light cone. Imagine a cone shape, with you at the very tip. The cone extends outward and backward in all directions. Everything inside the cone is something you could, in principle, have been affected by, because there was enough time for light to travel from it to you. Everything outside the cone is something you could not have been affected by, because the light has not had enough time to reach you yet. The past light cone includes everything that has already sent light toward you that has already arrived. You can see these things because their light has reached you. The future light cone, which points in the other direction, includes everything that your light could reach in the future. These are the places and times that you could, in principle, send a message to. But there is a lot of stuff outside the light cones. Events that happened at places and times such that their light could not have reached you yet, and your light could not have reached them yet. These events are neither in your past nor in your future. They are, in a strange sense, elsewhere. They exist in a region of space and time that has no causal connection to your present moment. This is a difficult idea to wrap your head around. We are used to thinking that everything that has happened is in the past, and everything that will happen is in the future. But the light cone picture shows us that some things are neither. They are simply out of reach, beyond the horizon of what light speed allows. Eventually, of course, the light from those events will arrive. Eventually they will enter your past light cone and you will be able to see them. But until then they exist in a kind of limbo, real but inaccessible, happening but unknown. The observable universe is defined by the past light cone. It includes everything whose light has had time to reach us since the beginning of the universe. Beyond that, there is more universe, possibly much more, but we cannot see it. We cannot know about it. Its light has not had time to travel far enough to reach us. Over time, the observable universe grows. More light arrives, more of the cosmos becomes visible. Things that were beyond our horizon yesterday might be inside it tomorrow. The universe is constantly revealing itself to us, one arriving photon at a time, as the light from more and more distant places finally completes its journey. But the universe is also expanding, and this expansion is accelerating, which means that some parts of the universe are receding from us so fast that their light will never reach us. They are beyond a kind of cosmic horizon, forever hidden, forever out of touch. We will never see them, no matter how long we wait, no matter how sensitive our instruments become. This is a strange thought, that there are parts of reality we can never access, not because of any limitation of our technology, but because of the fundamental structure of space and time. The speed of light, combined with the expansion of the universe, creates an absolute boundary around what we can ever hope to see. But maybe this is not so strange. Maybe every boundary, every horizon, is a kind of invitation. An invitation to pay attention to what is inside the boundary, to appreciate what we can see rather than lamenting what we cannot. The observable universe is not small. It contains hundreds of billions of galaxies, each with hundreds of billions of stars. It encompasses a history stretching back over 13 billion years. It includes an almost unimaginable variety of structures and phenomena, from the simplest atoms to the most complex organisms. There is plenty to see, plenty to explore, plenty to wonder about. The fact that there is more, beyond the horizon, does not diminish what is here. Let us think about what all of this means for how we see ourselves in the universe. We often think of ourselves as central, not in a cosmological sense anymore, since we know the Earth is not the center of the universe, but in an experiential sense. We experience the world from our own point of view. We see things as they appear to us. We are the subject, and everything else is the object of our observation. But the speed of light reminds us that we are also objects. We are also sending light outward. We are also being seen, or at least our light is traveling outward to places where it might someday be seen. We are not just observers. We are also part of what is being observed. Someone looking at the sun from a distant star system might wonder if there are planets around it, if there is life on those planets, if there are beings looking back at them. They would have no way of knowing, just as we have no way of knowing about them. But they would know that the light they are seeing started its journey long ago, and that whatever is happening at that distant star right now is hidden from them behind the delay. We are in that position with respect to them. We are the distant, unknown presence, the possible beings around a distant star, seen only through the light we emit and reflect. To them, we are part of the past, an image from long ago, a mystery waiting to be resolved by future arriving light. This mutual invisibility, this shared experience of seeing only each other's pasts, is oddly connecting. It puts us on the same footing as every other place in the universe. We are not special. We are not privileged. We are just one more location in a vast cosmos, sending light outward, receiving light inward, connected to everything else through the slow exchange of information. There is humility in this. We are not the center. We are not the main character. We are participants in a universal story, playing our small part, seeing what we can see, wondering about the rest. The universe does not revolve around us, and we do not have access to any special or immediate knowledge of what is happening elsewhere. We are like everyone else, embedded in our own little bubble of now, piecing together the past from the light that arrives. But there is also dignity in it. We are here. We exist. We are capable of wondering about all of this, of asking questions about light and time and distance, of marveling at the strangeness of a universe where seeing is always delayed. That capacity for wonder is not nothing. It is something remarkable, something that emerged from the cosmos itself and now turns back to look at the cosmos with curiosity and awe. We are the universe looking at itself. We are matter that has become conscious, that has developed the ability to think about its own existence, to study its own history, to appreciate its own beauty. The light that reaches our eyes started in distant stars, but it ends in a mind that can think about stars, that can feel wonder and gratitude, and a quiet sense of connection to everything that exists. Let us slow down even further now. Let us just be here, in this moment, thinking about light. The room around you, or the space around you, or wherever you are as you listen to this, is filled with light. Some of it is visible, the light you see by. Some of it is invisible, infrared radiation from warm objects, radio waves passing through from distant sources, ultraviolet light from the sun if it is daytime. All of it is electromagnetic radiation. All of it travels at the same speed. All of it carries information about the sources it came from. You are bathed in this light. It passes through you and around you, some of it absorbed by your body, some of it reflected, some of it passing through transparent parts of you, some of it blocked by opaque parts. You are a complex object, interacting with light in countless ways, absorbing some wavelengths and reflecting others, becoming visible to anyone who looks at you because of the light you reflect and the infrared radiation you emit. The light you are seeing right now, whatever it is, wherever it came from, has been traveling towards you for some amount of time, maybe just a fraction of a second from the lamp across the room, maybe 8 minutes from the sun, maybe years or centuries or eons from the distant stars, all of it arriving together, mixing in your eyes, creating the visual experience you are having right now. This moment, this experience, is the end point of countless journeys. Each photon that enters your eye has come from somewhere, has travelled through space and time to reach you, and now it is here, being absorbed by your retina, triggering chemical reactions that become electrical signals that become perceptions that become thoughts. The journey ends in your mind, and you see. There is something profound about this if you let yourself feel it. You are not just a passive observer. You are an active participant in the completion of these journeys. The light needs somewhere to go, something to interact with, someone to see it. And here you are, providing that. You are the destination, the receiver, the place where the light finally comes to rest. Without you, or without someone like you, or without some sensor or recording device, the light would just keep travelling. It would pass through this region of space and continue outward, heading towards some other destination, perhaps never being absorbed at all, perhaps travelling forever through an ever-expanding universe. But because you are here, it stops. It becomes something. It becomes sight. This is the gift of being a conscious being in a universe of light. You get to be the place where light arrives. You get to receive the messages, see the images, catch the photons that have been travelling since before you were born. The universe pours out light in all directions, endlessly, profligately, and you are one of the lucky places where some of that light finds a home. Let us think about what happens after we die, not in any spiritual or religious sense, but in the purely physical sense of what happens to the light we have interacted with. The light you have emitted during your life, the infrared radiation from your warm body, the visible light reflected from your skin and clothes, the radio waves that have bounced off you, all of that light is still traveling. It left you at some point during your life, and it has been moving outward ever since, at the speed of light, into the darkness of space. Most of that light will never encounter anything significant. It will travel outward forever, dimming and spreading, becoming an ever fainter trace of your existence in the cosmos. But some of it might reach something, some distant planet, some space telescope, some future sensor that can pick up the faint traces of electromagnetic radiation that was once associated with you. In that sense, you will become a ghost. Not a supernatural ghost, but a ghost in the same sense that stars are ghosts. An image from the past, traveling through the universe, potentially being seen by someone or something long after the source has ceased to exist. Your light is your legacy, in a way. The part of you that goes on traveling even after you are gone. This is true of everything that has ever emitted or reflected light. Every person, every animal, every plant, every rock and river and building. All of it has sent light outward, and all of that light is still traveling. The universe is full of these traces, these echoes, these ghostly images of things that no longer exist. We just cannot see most of them because they are too faint, too spread out, too mixed with all the other light. But they are there. The light from the dinosaurs is still out there, somewhere, traveling through space, carrying images of creatures that lived millions of years ago. The light from ancient civilizations is still out there, showing cities that have long since crumbled to dust. The light from your ancestors is still out there, images of people you never met, traveling toward destinations no one can predict. This is not immortality, exactly. The light is not you. It does not carry your consciousness or your personality or your memories. It is just electromagnetic radiation, photons that once bounced off your face or radiated from your body heat. But it is a kind of trace, a record, a physical consequence of your existence that persists long after you are gone. And in a universe where seeing is always seeing the past, where the night sky is a museum of dead stars and ancient galaxies, there is something fitting about this. We are all becoming part of that museum. We are all contributing our own images, our own moments, our own slices of history to the grand collection of cosmic light. Let us come back to the night sky one more time. Let us think about what it means to look up at the stars with all of this in mind. You are lying outside perhaps, or sitting by a window, or standing on a balcony. The sky is dark and the stars are visible. They look like tiny points of light scattered across the blackness, some brighter than others, some clustered together, some standing alone. Each of those points of light is a sun, a star burning in the nuclear fire that powers all stars, fusing hydrogen into helium and releasing energy that has been traveling for years or centuries or millennia to reach your eyes. Each one is immensely distant, immensely hot, immensely large, and each one is frozen in time, showing you a moment from its past, a snapshot of how it looked when the light left. Some of those stars might be dead now. They might have exploded or collapsed or burned out, and you would not know because the light from their death has not arrived yet. You are looking at ghosts, at memories, at images of things that might no longer exist. The sky is a memorial as much as it is a view, a tribute to stars that have shone and might have stopped shining. But here is the thing, you do not know which stars are ghosts and which are still burning. From where you sit, they all look the same. They are all just points of light, arriving from different distances, representing different moments in time. You cannot tell, just by looking, which ones are ancient images and which ones are relatively recent. They are all mixed together, the living and the possibly dead, the young light and the old light. And maybe that is okay. Maybe it does not matter whether a star is still burning or not. What matters is that its light reached you. What matters is that you got to see it. The star did its job, sending light outward, sharing its existence with the universe. And you are doing your job, receiving that light, appreciating it, wondering about it. The connection is real, even if it is a connection to the past. This is true of all connections in a way. Even when you talk to a friend across the room, you are connecting to their past. Just a tiny fraction of a second in the past, but the past nonetheless. The present moment is always just slightly out of reach, always separated from you by the time it takes for light and sound to travel. We learn to ignore this gap, to treat it as if it were nothing. But the gap is there. The connection is always to something that has already happened. So why should it be different with the stars? Why should we feel sad that we are seeing their past? We are always seeing the past no matter where we look. The stars are just more honest about it, more obvious, making the delay impossible to ignore. They remind us of something that is true everywhere, all the time, in all our interactions with the world. We are always late observers. We are always receiving old news. We are always looking at what was, not what is. And this is not a flaw or a failure or a tragedy. It is simply how the universe works. It is the price of seeing anything at all. Let us think about acceptance for a moment, about what it means to accept something that cannot be changed. The speed of light is not going to change. It is a fundamental constant of nature, woven into the structure of reality itself. No technology will ever allow us to see the present across cosmic distances. No scientific breakthrough will ever eliminate the delay. The light will always take time to travel, and we will always be seeing the past. Some things can be changed, some limitations can be overcome, but this one cannot. It is built into the fabric of existence, as basic and immutable as the existence of space and time themselves. If we want to see anything at all, we have to accept that we will see it late. There is a kind of peace that can come from accepting what cannot be changed. Not resignation, not defeat, but a quiet recognition that some things are simply the way they are. The universe has rules, and one of the rules is that light has a speed, and we live with the consequences of that rule, whether we like it or not. Fighting against it makes no sense. Wishing it were different makes no sense. The speed of light does not care about our preferences or our frustrations. It simply is what it is. And learning to be at peace with it, learning to appreciate the universe as it actually works, rather than as we might wish it worked, is a form of wisdom. The night sky is not a failure. It is a window into history, a gallery of cosmic art, a collection of moments from across time and space. We are privileged to see it at all. We are privileged to live in a universe where light travels outward from every source, carrying information, creating connections, allowing us to witness events that happened long ago and far away. Imagine a universe where nothing could be seen, where light did not exist, or where it was absorbed immediately by the medium of space, or where there was no mechanism for transmitting information across distances. We would be blind. We would know nothing beyond what we could touch. We would have no idea what was out there in the darkness. But that is not our universe. Our universe is generous with its light. It fills space with photons, sends them streaming outward from every star and galaxy, lets them travel for billions of years without fading away. And when those photons reach us, they carry the story of where they came from, allowing us to see across distances that would otherwise be inconceivable. Yes, the light is old by the time it arrives. Yes, we are always looking at the past, but we are looking at the past of the universe, which is a remarkable thing to be able to do. We are witnessing history on a cosmic scale, seeing moments from epochs so distant that our human timescales cannot begin to capture them. The delay is the price we pay, and it is a price worth paying. Let us think about wonder, about the feeling of looking at the night sky and being struck by the strangeness and beauty of what we are seeing. Wonder is not the same as understanding. You can understand something without feeling wonder, and you can feel wonder without fully understanding. Wonder is more like an emotional response, a sense of awe and amazement at something that surprises or delights you. The night sky is full of opportunities for wonder. The sheer number of stars visible on a clear night is wondrous. The distances involved are wondrous. The ages of the light arriving are wondrous. The fact that we can see any of it at all, that our small planet in its ordinary corner of a middling galaxy is receiving messages from across the cosmos, is wondrous. But wonder can be fragile. It can be drowned out by familiarity, by routine, by the pressures and distractions of daily life. We can get so used to the fact that the stars are there that we stop noticing them. We can let the sky become background noise, something we barely register as we go about our business. This is a shame because wonder is valuable. It opens us up to the strangeness of existence, to the mystery of being alive in a universe that did not have to produce beings like us. It reminds us that we are small, and the cosmos is vast, and there is so much more out there than we could ever fully comprehend. Thinking about the speed of light, about the delay, about the fact that we are always seeing the past, can rekindle that wonder. It takes something familiar, the night sky, and makes it strange again. It invites us to see the stars not as fixed points of light, but as travelers from different moments in time, each one carrying its own story, each one a message from history. When you look up at the night sky tonight, or whenever you next find yourself under a clear, dark sky, try to feel the strangeness of what you are seeing. Try to remember that those points of light are not happening now. They are moments from the past, arriving at your eyes after journeys of years or centuries or millennia. You are not looking at the present. You are looking at a museum, a gallery, a collection of cosmic memories, and you are part of it. You are one more object in the universe, sending your own light outward, becoming a ghost for someone else's future sky. The light that reflects off your face tonight will travel outward into space, joining the great stream of photons that fills the cosmos, becoming part of the universal exchange of information across time and distance. We are all ghosts. We are all memories in the making. We are all sending ourselves outward into the future, one photon at a time. And somewhere, somehow, some of that light might be received, might be seen, might carry the news of our existence to someone or something that we will never know. This is the gift and the burden of existing in a universe where light has a speed. We are connected to everything, but always with a delay. We can see everything, but always as it was rather than as it is. We are part of a great cosmic conversation, but our messages take time to arrive and time to be answered. There is something comforting in this if you let yourself feel it. We are not isolated. We are not alone. We are embedded in a web of light that connects us to everything else, that carries information back and forth across the ages. The delay is not a barrier. It is the medium of connection, the way that information travels, the thread that ties us to the rest of the universe. When you feel small, when you feel insignificant, when you wonder whether your existence matters in the vast sweep of cosmic history, remember the light. Remember that you are receiving messages from the past and sending messages to the future. Remember that you are part of the great exchange, the endless conversation, the universal sharing of information that makes the cosmos a connected whole. You matter because you are here. You matter because you can see. You matter because you can wonder and appreciate and feel awe at the strangeness of it all. The universe did not have to produce beings like you, but it did. And now you are here, receiving its light, completing the journeys of photons that have been traveling since before you were born. Let us begin to draw this to a close. Let us find a place of rest, a point of stillness, a moment of quiet acceptance. The night sky is a ghost. That is not a metaphor or a poetic exaggeration. It is a literal truth about how light works and what we see when we look up at the stars. We are not seeing the present, we are seeing the past, a collection of different pasts all mixed together into something that looks like a single moment, but is actually a tapestry woven from countless threads of time. Some of what we see might no longer exist. Some stars might have died. Some galaxies might have transformed. Some of the light we receive is from sources that have long since changed beyond recognition. We cannot know. We can only see what the light tells us, and the light is always telling us about the past. This could be seen as tragic. It could be seen as a kind of cosmic loneliness, a reminder that we can never truly share the present with the distant universe, that we are forever separated by the delay of light. And if that is how you feel, that is okay. Those feelings are valid responses to a genuinely strange and difficult truth about reality. But there is another way to see it, a gentler way, a way that finds peace in the delay rather than sorrow. The delay is not a punishment. It is not a flaw. It is the very thing that makes seeing possible. Without the finite speed of light, there would be no structure to space and time, no meaningful concept of distance, no way for information to travel from one place to another. The delay is what gives the universe its shape, its history, its texture. And the delay is what gives us access to that history. When we look at distant galaxies, we see them as they were billions of years ago. We witness the early universe, the formation of stars and structures, the unfolding of cosmic evolution. Without the delay, all of that would be hidden. We would be trapped in the present, with no window into the past, no way to understand where we came from or how the universe came to be. So the delay is a gift. It is the mechanism by which the universe shares itself with us, reveals its history, invites us to look back through time and see what was. Every photon that reaches our eyes is a gift, a message, a connection to something that happened long ago and far away. We are the recipients of these gifts. We are the ones who get to see the light, to appreciate it, to wonder at it. We are the consciousness that the universe has produced to look back at itself and feel awe. That is not nothing. That is something remarkable, something worth appreciating, something worth being grateful for. The night sky is a ghost, yes, but it is a friendly ghost. It is not trying to scare us or haunt us or remind us of loss. It is simply sharing itself with us, offering us a glimpse of what was, inviting us to participate in the great cosmic story. We are not victims of the delay. We are beneficiaries of it. As you lie there, or sit there, or stand there looking up at the stars, let yourself feel the connection. Feel the light arriving, the ancient photons ending their journeys in your eyes. Feel the strangeness and the wonder and the quiet beauty of seeing the past. Feel yourself as part of something much larger, a tiny node in a vast network of light and time and matter. You are here. You exist. You can see. In a universe where seeing is always seeing the past, you get to be one of the places where the past arrives. You get to receive the messages, catch the light, complete the journeys. That is a privilege. That is something to be grateful for. The stars will still be there tomorrow night and the night after, and for countless nights to come. Their light will keep arriving, carrying news from the past, filling the sky with ghosts and memories and ancient images. and you can keep looking, keep receiving, keep wondering. The conversation between you and the cosmos does not have to end. It can continue for as long as you have eyes to see and a mind to wonder. Let the strangeness of it wash over you. Let the light fill your eyes. Let yourself drift in the quiet awareness that you are part of something vast and ancient and beautiful. The night sky is a ghost, and you are seeing it, and that is enough. That is more than enough. That is everything. The light has been traveling for so long, and now, finally, it is here. It has found you. Rest in that. Let it be what it is. Let yourself be what you are, a small point of awareness in a vast universe, receiving the gifts of ancient light, participating in the great exchange that connects all things across time and space. Close your eyes if you want. The light will still be there when you open them. The stars will still be shining. The ghosts will still be arriving. The past will still be making its way toward you at the speed of light. You do not have to do anything. You do not have to understand anything. You just have to be here, in this moment, receiving whatever arrives. The universe is old. The light is old. You are brief. But for this moment, you are connected to all of it. The photons that enter your eyes are messengers from the depths of time, and they have found you. They have completed their journeys in you. You are the destination they did not know they had, the end point of voyages that began before you were possible. Let that sink in. Let it settle. Let it become part of how you understand your place in the cosmos. You are small, and the universe is vast, but you are not nothing. You are a place where light arrives. You are a point of connection. You are a receiver of ancient messages. And that matters. That is meaningful. That is your role in the great story. The night sky is a ghost, and you are seeing it, and that is beautiful. Let yourself feel the beauty. Let yourself rest in it. Let yourself drift into whatever comes next. The light will keep arriving. The past will keep coming. The universe will keep sharing itself with you. You can receive it all. You can wonder at it all. You can be grateful for it all. And now perhaps you can let go. Let go of the questions. Let go of the strangeness. Let go of the need to understand. Just be here, under the sky, surrounded by light that has travelled so far to reach you. Just be a point of awareness, receiving what arrives, appreciating what you see. The stars are out there, shining in their own distant presence, sending their light toward futures they cannot see. And you are here, in your own present, receiving light from pasts you cannot touch. You are connected across time, connected by the slow, patient travel of photons, connected by the universal language of light. Rest in that connection. Rest in the peace of knowing that you are part of something larger than yourself. Rest in the quiet wonder of a universe where seeing is always seeing the past, where the night sky is a museum of history, where every glance upward is a journey through time. The light has arrived. It has found you. Let it be received. Let it be appreciated. Let it be the last thing you think about as you drift towards sleep, or simply towards stillness, or toward whatever peace this moment offers. The night sky is a ghost. You are seeing it. And that is the strangest, most beautiful gift the universe could give. Let yourself receive it. Let yourself rest. Let the ancient light hold you, and let yourself be held. The journey has been long, but it is over now. The light is here. You are here. And for this one quiet moment, that is all there is. The past arrives at the speed of light, and you are here to meet it. And that is enough. That is more than enough. That is everything. There is something else worth considering as we rest here in the quiet of these ideas. Something about the nature of perception itself, and how the delay of light shapes not just what we see, but how we experience the act of seeing. When light enters your eye, it does not immediately become vision. There are steps in between, processes that take time. The light strikes your retina, triggering chemical reactions in specialized cells called rods and cones. These cells convert the light into electrical signals, which travel along the optic nerve toward your brain. The signals pass through various processing centers where they are filtered and organized and interpreted. And finally, after all of this, you have the experience of seeing. This process takes time. Not very much time by human standards. A few tens of milliseconds perhaps, but time nonetheless. Which means that even for objects that are very close to you, there is a delay between when the light arrives at your eye and when you actually experience seeing. So the delay we have been talking about is actually doubled. First, there is the delay of the light traveling from the object to your eye. Then there is the delay of your brain processing that light into a visual experience. You are not just seeing the past because light takes time to travel. You are seeing the past because seeing itself takes time. This might seem like splitting hairs. The processing time is so short that it makes no practical difference. You cannot perceive the delay. You cannot feel your brain taking time to convert light into vision. It all happens below the threshold of conscious awareness. But it is worth knowing about, if only because it underscores the point that seeing is never instantaneous. Every experience of vision involves delay, involves processing, involves the transformation of raw light into meaningful perception. You never see the world directly. You always see the world through the mediation of your sensory and neural systems, and those systems take time to do their work. In a way, your visual experience of the world is a kind of reconstruction. Your brain takes the raw data from your eyes, fills in gaps, makes assumptions, and creates a coherent picture that you experience as reality. This reconstruction is very good enough that it seems seamless and immediate. But it is still a reconstruction. It is still something your brain creates, based on data that is already slightly out of date by the time you perceive it. This is true for all your senses, not just vision. Sound takes time to travel and time to be processed. Touch takes time to be registered and interpreted. Even your sense of your own body, the feeling of where your limbs are and what position you are in, involves neural signals traveling from your body to your brain and being processed into awareness. You live, in a sense, in a bubble of perceived reality that is always slightly behind actual reality. The present moment, as you experience it, is actually a reconstruction of what happened a few dozen milliseconds ago. You never experience the present directly. You only experience a very recent past that has been processed and presented to you as if it were now. This is not a problem. It is simply how nervous systems work, how brains work, how perception works. The delays are so small that they do not affect your ability to navigate the world or interact with your environment. But knowing about them can help us understand that the delay of cosmic light is not unique or unusual. It is simply a larger scale version of something that is happening all the time, in every act of perception, in every moment of conscious experience. We are always behind. We are always catching up. We are always experiencing a reconstruction of the past rather than a direct apprehension of the present. And at cosmic scales, where the distances are measured in light years and the delays are measured in centuries, this fundamental truth about perception becomes impossible to ignore. Let us think about memory for a while, about the relationship between seeing and remembering, and how the delay of light connects to our broader experience of time. When you remember something, you are accessing information that was stored in your brain at some point in the past. The memory is not a perfect recording of what happened. It is a reconstruction, shaped by what you noticed at the time, what you thought about afterward, how you have retrieved and modified the memory since. Memories are imperfect, changeable, sometimes unreliable. But they are also precious because they are our only access to our own past. Seeing something from the distant past, like the light from an ancient star, is a kind of memory. Not your memory, but the universe's memory. The light has been traveling for all those years, carrying information about the moment it left, preserving a record of how things looked at a particular instant in the past. When you see that light, you are accessing that record, reading the universe's memory of what happened long ago. But unlike your own memories, which are stored in your brain and subject to all the distortions and modifications that brains introduce, the universe's memory is remarkably faithful. Light does not forget. It does not change its story. It does not get confused about what happened. It simply carries the information it has always carried, unchanged by the passage of time. When you look at a star that is 1,000 light years away, you are seeing information that has been preserved perfectly for 1,000 years. The light has not been edited or corrupted or improved. It is exactly what it was when it left the star, a faithful record of that distant moment, now arriving at your eyes unchanged. This is a kind of miracle if you think about it. We have no technology that can preserve information with such fidelity over such long timescales. Our books decay, our recordings degrade, our digital files become corrupted. But light just keeps traveling, carrying its information forward through time, preserving the past in a way that nothing else can match. The night sky is an archive, a library of cosmic memories stored in the form of traveling light, waiting to be read by anyone who looks up. The information is free, available to everyone, requiring no subscription or password or special access. All you need are eyes and a clear sky, and you can read memories that are older than human civilization. Think about what this means for our understanding of history. We often think of history as something that is lost, something that exists only in fragmentary records and imperfect reconstructions. And for human history, that is largely true. We have only partial knowledge of the past, pieced together from artifacts and documents and oral traditions. But cosmic history is different. Cosmic history is still happening all around us, still arriving in the form of ancient light, still readable by anyone with the right instruments. We can see galaxies as they were billions of years ago. We can study the early universe directly by observing light that has been traveling since shortly after the Big Bang. We can watch cosmic events unfold, even though they happened long before Earth existed. The universe preserves its past in a way that human civilization does not, and it shares that past with us, generously, openly, requiring only that we look up and pay attention. Let us consider the emotional experience of this realization. How it feels to know that we are always seeing the past, that the night sky is a collection of ghosts, that some of the stars we see might no longer exist. For some people, this is unsettling. It introduces a kind of uncertainty into what seemed certain. We thought we were seeing stars, real objects burning away in the present. Now we learn that we are seeing images, memories, records of what stars used to be. The solidity of the night sky dissolves into something more ephemeral, more ghostly, more uncertain. For others, this is exhilarating. The night sky becomes deeper, richer, more complex. It is no longer just a pretty pattern of lights. It is a window into time, a gallery of cosmic history, a connection to moments that span millions and billions of years. The stars become more interesting, not less, when we understand the time delay involved in seeing them. For still others, the response is more contemplative. There is a quietness that can come from sitting with this knowledge, a stillness that arises when you let go of the need for things to be simple and direct. The universe is strange, and that strangeness is okay. We can accept it, appreciate it, even find peace in it. Your own response might be a mix of all of these, or something different entirely. There is no right way to feel about the fact that we see the past. There is only your way, whatever that turns out to be. What matters, perhaps, is not what you feel, but that you let yourself feel it. That you do not push the knowledge away because it is uncomfortable, or turn away from it because it is strange. The universe is what it is. Light moves at a finite speed. We see the past when we look at the stars. These are facts, and facts deserve to be acknowledged, even when they are surprising. Let us return once more to the everyday, to the familiar, to the world within arm's reach. Let us think about how the delay of light manifests in the small moments of daily life, even when we do not notice it. When you watch a video, you are watching something that was recorded in the past. The people on screen might be speaking and moving as if they were present, but they are not. They recorded their actions at some earlier time, and now you are watching a reproduction. The video is a kind of stored light, a preserved record of how things looked at the moment of recording. In this sense, watching a video is similar to watching the stars. Both involve receiving light from the past, light that carries information about how things looked at some earlier time. The difference is only one of degree. A video might show you events from hours or days or years ago. A star shows you events from years or centuries or millennia ago. But the basic principle is the same. You are seeing the past, frozen in light, delivered to you across time. Photographs work the same way. A photograph is a moment captured in light, preserved on film or in digital memory, available to be seen long after the moment has passed. When you look at an old photograph, you are looking at light that was reflected from faces and places that might have changed completely since the picture was taken. You are seeing ghosts in a way, images of people who might be older now or gone entirely. Every photograph is a ghost. Every video is a haunting. We are surrounded by preserved moments, captured light, images from the past. The night sky is simply the largest and oldest collection of such images, stretching back further than any human archive could hope to preserve. And this means that seeing the past is not something special that happens only when we look at stars. It is something we do all the time, in countless ways, whenever we watch recordings, or look at photographs, or even just glance at objects that are far away enough for the light delay to be measurable. We are constantly receiving information from the past, constantly piecing together a picture of the world from data that is already slightly out of date. The universe runs on delayed information. That is how it works. That is how it has always worked, and the fact that we do not usually notice this does not make it any less true. Let us think about simultaneity, about what it means for two events to happen at the same time. In everyday life, we have a strong intuition about simultaneity. If two things happen at the same time, they are simultaneous. If one happens before the other, they are sequential. This seems obvious, almost self-evident. Time flows in one direction, events happen in sequence, and we can compare any two events to see which one came first. But the finite speed of light complicates this intuition. If information cannot travel faster than light, then the concept of simultaneity becomes surprisingly slippery. Imagine two events happening at the same time, but in different locations. Say, a bell ringing in one city and a firework exploding in another, hundreds of kilometers apart. For you, sitting exactly between them, the events might seem simultaneous. The light and sound from both events reaches you at the same time, so you experience them as happening together. But for someone sitting closer to one event than the other, the experience would be different. They would see and hear the closer event before the farther one because the light and sound had less distance to travel. For them, the events would not seem simultaneous at all. One would seem to happen before the other. Now, you might say that this is just an illusion of perception. The events really happened at the same time. It just took longer for the information to reach the more distant observer. But here is the strange thing. According to our best understanding of physics, There is no way to determine absolutely and definitively which observer is right. There is no cosmic clock that everyone can consult to see when events really happened. All we have are observations, and observations are always subject to the delay of light. This leads to a deeply counterintuitive idea. Two observers moving differently through space can disagree about whether two events are simultaneous, and neither of them is wrong. Simultaneity is not absolute. It depends on your frame of reference, on how you are moving, on where you are located. What seems simultaneous to you might seem sequential to someone else. This is not just a theoretical curiosity. It is a fundamental feature of how space and time work, confirmed by countless experiments and observations. The universe does not have a single universal now that everyone shares. It has many nows, overlapping and intersecting, each one valid from its own perspective. For the night sky, this means that the question of what is happening on a distant star right now does not have a simple answer. There is no single right now that applies to both you and the star. There is only what you can see, which is always the past, and what you might eventually see, which is the future arriving at the speed of light. This might seem abstract or confusing, and in many ways it is. The non-absoluteness of simultaneity is one of the most difficult aspects of modern physics to wrap your head around. Our intuitions, built from everyday experience where the delays are negligible, do not prepare us for this kind of strangeness. But perhaps it is enough to know that the strangeness exists, that the universe is not as simple as it seems, that the neat division of time into past, present and future is more complicated than we thought, and that the finite speed of light is at the heart of that complication. Let us think about patience, about what it means to live in a universe where information takes time to arrive. We are not a patient species generally. We want answers quickly, results immediately, gratification now. We have built technologies that speed up communication, that deliver information faster and faster, that shrink the delays between question and answer, between desire and fulfillment. But the universe is patient. It does not hurry. It lets light travel at its own pace, taking years and centuries and eons to cross the distances between stars and galaxies. It does not offer shortcuts or express lanes. If you want to see something far away, you have to wait for the light to arrive. There is something almost meditative about this cosmic patience. The universe is not in a rush. It takes its time, lets things unfold at their natural pace, does not try to compress everything into a single instant, and perhaps there is something we can learn from that. Our impatience is often a source of stress and dissatisfaction. We want things to happen faster than they can happen. We chafe against delays, get frustrated with waiting, feel like time is slipping away while we are stuck in line or on hold, or watching a progress bar creep slowly across a screen. But the universe shows us that delays are not obstacles. They are features. They are part of how things work, how information travels, how connection happens across distance. The light from a star takes years to reach you because that is how far it has to travel. There is no faster way, no shortcut, no trick to make it arrive sooner. The delay is simply what it is. Maybe we can learn to accept delays in our own lives with a similar equanimity. Not every answer needs to come immediately. Not every result needs to be instant. Some things take time, and that time is part of the process, part of the journey, part of what makes the eventual arrival meaningful. The light that reaches your eyes from a distant star has been traveling for longer than you can imagine. It has been patient, crossing the void 1 kilometer at a time, never speeding up, never slowing down, just moving steadily forward at the speed of light. And now, after all that time, it has arrived. It has found you. The journey is over. There is something beautiful about that patience, something worth appreciating. The light did not complain about the delay. It did not get frustrated with the distance. It just travelled and travelled and travelled until it reached its destination. And now you get to see it. Let us think about connection, about what it means to be connected to the rest of the universe, even across vast distances and enormous delays. Connection does not require immediacy. You can be connected to someone even if you cannot speak to them in real time. You can be connected to a place even if you cannot visit it whenever you want. Connection is about relationship, about shared experience, about mutual influence, and these things can exist across time and space. When you look at the night sky, you are connected to the stars, not through a live video feed or an instant message, but through the light they have sent and you have received. That light is a connection, a thread stretching across light years, linking you to something impossibly distant. The connection is real, even if it is one-directional and delayed. You are receiving something that was sent. You are catching something that was thrown. You are participating in an exchange, even if the exchange is happening across timescales that dwarf a human lifetime. Think about how we stay connected to the people we love who are far away. We send letters and emails and messages. We share photos and videos. We make phone calls and video chats. All of these involve delay. Some of the delays are tiny, measured in milliseconds. Others are longer, hours or days for a letter to arrive. But we do not think of these delays as breaks in the connection. We think of them as part of how the connection works. The same is true for our connection to the cosmos. The delays are longer, much longer, but they are still just delays. They do not break the connection. They are part of how the connection works. We receive light from the stars, and that light connects us to them, even if the light is old by the time it arrives. In a universe governed by the speed of light, connection always involves delay. There is no such thing as instant contact across distance. All connection is mediated by the time it takes for signals to travel. And yet, connection is still real, still meaningful, still worth having. You are connected to the stars. You are connected to the galaxies. You are connected to the entire visible universe through the light that arrives at your eyes, through the information that streams towards you from every direction. The connection might be delayed, but it is there. It is real. It matters. Let us think about the future, about what the universe will look like from Earth in the years and centuries and millennia to come. The light that is arriving now is just the latest installment in an ongoing story. More light is on its way. Light that left distant stars decades ago, centuries ago, millennia ago, is still travelling, still crossing the void, still making its way toward Earth. That light will arrive in the future, and when it does, it will show us more of the past. Every year, the observable universe gets slightly larger, not because the universe itself is growing, but because more light has had time to reach us. Events that were beyond our horizon last year might be inside it next year. We are constantly receiving new information about older times, expanding our view of cosmic history. This process will continue for as long as there are observers on Earth to receive the light. The night sky of the future will contain stars and galaxies that we cannot yet see because their light has not yet arrived. Future generations will look up and see things that we cannot see, not because they have better eyes, but because they are living at a time when more light has had time to travel. There is something hopeful about this. The story is not over. The archive is not complete. More memories are on their way, more history is arriving, more of the universe is becoming visible. We are not at the end of cosmic discovery. We are somewhere in the middle, receiving messages from the past, waiting for more messages to arrive. And in the very long term, the expansion of the universe will eventually outpace the arrival of new light. Distant galaxies will recede beyond our horizon forever. their light stretched to invisibility by the expansion of space. The observable universe will slowly darken as fewer and fewer distant objects remain within our view. But that is very far in the future, so far that human civilization as we know it might not exist to witness it. For now, and for the foreseeable future, the universe is still sharing itself with us, still sending its light, still inviting us to look up and wonder. Let us return to this moment, to this night, this sky, this experience of lying under the stars and thinking about what they mean. The ideas we have explored are large and strange and sometimes difficult. The finite speed of light, the delay of seeing, the ghostly nature of the night sky, the impossibility of knowing the present at cosmic distances. These are not easy concepts to hold in the mind. They challenge our intuitions, stretch our imagination, make us feel small and late and uncertain. But they are also beautiful in their own way. They reveal a universe that is more complex, more textured, more full of depth and history than we might have imagined. They show us that seeing is not simple, that time and distance are woven together, that we are connected to the cosmos through an endless exchange of ancient light. And they invite us to a kind of acceptance, an acceptance of our place in the universe, small and brief but real, an acceptance of the delay, the lateness, the inability to see the present, an acceptance of the ghosts and memories that fill our sky, the images of things that might no longer exist, the messages from times that have already vanished. This acceptance is not resignation. It is not giving up or turning away. It is a settling in, a finding of peace, a recognition that the universe is what it is, and that we can find meaning and wonder within it, as it actually works. You are here. You exist. You are looking at the stars, thinking about light, wondering about time and distance and what it all means. That is something. That is more than something. That is remarkable, given the vast improbability of your existence, given the long chain of events that had to happen for you to be here, given the countless ways things could have gone differently. The light that reaches your eyes tonight has been traveling toward this moment for longer than you can comprehend. It did not know it would find you. It did not know you would exist to receive it. It just traveled, and now here it is, completing its journey in your awareness, becoming part of your experience of being alive. You are the destination. You are the end point. You are the place where the ancient light finally comes to rest. And in receiving it, you participate in something larger than yourself, something older than humanity, something that spans the cosmos and reaches back to the beginning of time. Let that settle over you like a blanket. Let it comfort you and ground you and remind you that you are part of something vast. The night sky is a ghost, yes, but it is your ghost, your connection to the past, your window into the history of the universe. You get to see it. You get to wonder about it. You get to be the place where all that ancient light arrives. The delay is not a barrier. It is a bridge. It connects you to moments that happened before you were possible, and it will connect future beings to moments that are happening now. We are all part of this great chain of light and time, sending and receiving, looking and being looked at, ghosts to some and observers to others. There is no need to feel lonely in this. The universe is full of light, full of connections, full of messages traveling across the void. You are never really alone, not in a cosmos where photons are always streaming towards you from every direction, carrying news from the past, inviting you into the story. Let your eyes close if they are heavy. Let your thoughts drift if they want to drift. The light will still be there when you wake. The stars will still be sending their messages. The past will still be arriving, moment by moment, photon by photon, as it has been for billions of years. You can rest now. You have thought enough. You have wondered enough. You have held these strange and beautiful ideas in your mind, and that is all you need to do. The universe does not ask you to solve it or fix it or understand it completely. It only asks you to be here, to receive what arrives, to appreciate what you can. The night sky is a ghost. You are seeing it. And in seeing it, you are part of something ancient and ongoing, something that started before you and will continue after you, something that is as close as the light in your eyes and as distant as the farthest stars. That is enough. That is everything. Let it be what it is, and let yourself be what you are. Rest now. The light has arrived, you have received it, and tomorrow, or the next night, or whenever you look up again, there will be more. More light, more ghosts, more messages from the past, more opportunities to wonder and appreciate and feel connected to the cosmos. The journey continues, the light keeps traveling, and you, brief and small and beautiful, get to be part of it. That is the gift. That is the wonder. That is what it means to look up at the night sky and see the past arriving, one photon at a time. Let it hold you. Let it carry you. Let it be the last thing you think about as you drift towards sleep, towards stillness, toward whatever peace this moment offers. The night sky is a ghost. You are seeing it. And that seeing connects you to everything that has ever sent light into the darkness, everything that has ever shone, everything that has ever been. You are connected. You are part of it. You belong to the great community of light and time and matter that makes up the universe. Rest in that belonging. Rest in that connection. Rest in the quiet wonder of being a place where ancient light arrives. The past is here. You are here. And for this one moment, that is all there is. Let it be enough. Let it be. There is a particular quality to the darkness between stars that is worth thinking about. We call it empty space, but it is not really empty. It is full of things we cannot see. Photons traveling in every direction, particles drifting through the void, gravitational waves rippling outward from colliding objects, fields and forces that permeate every cubic meter of the cosmos. When you look at the night sky, you see the stars, the bright points of light that stand out against the darkness. But what you are mostly looking at is the darkness itself. The vast spaces between the stars, where light is scarce, where nothing seems to be happening. That darkness is not absence. It is simply the regions where no light happens to be traveling in your direction at this moment. Think about what that means. The darkness between stars is not a void. It is a space through which countless photons are traveling right now, heading in every direction, carrying information from their sources toward destinations all over the universe. Most of those photons will never reach your eyes because they are not aimed at you. They are traveling in other directions, toward other destinations, completing other journeys. The light you see from the stars is just a tiny fraction of all the light that exists. Most of the light in the universe is invisible to you, not because it is somehow hidden, but simply because it is not coming toward you. It is going somewhere else, doing something else, being part of someone else's sky. This is a strange thought. The universe is full of light, far more than we ever see. Every star is shining in every direction at once, sending photons outward in all 360 degrees. We intercept only a tiny sliver of that light, the sliver that happens to be aimed at our eyes. The rest continues on, illuminating other parts of the cosmos, reaching other potential observers. If you could somehow see all the light in the universe, not just the light coming toward you, the sky would not be dark at all. It would be overwhelmingly bright, filled with photons from every star and every galaxy, all traveling in their various directions. The darkness we see is an illusion of perspective, a consequence of the fact that light travels in straight lines and we can only see the light that happens to be traveling toward us. But here is the thing, that light we cannot see still exists. It is still out there, still traveling, still carrying its information towards some future destination. The universe is luminous in ways we cannot directly perceive. We see only our own private slice of that luminosity, the tiny fraction that is addressed to us. And what we see is old. We have established that. The light from distant stars takes years to reach us. The light from distant galaxies takes millions or billions of years. What we see is not what is, but what was. We are looking at the past, reading messages from history, receiving news that is already out of date. But consider this. The news might be out of date for us, but it is still news. It is still information. It is still telling us something about how things were at some point in the past. And that information is valuable. It is the only information we can ever have about those distant places. The past is all we can know. This is true in a deeper sense than we might first realize. Not only can we not see the present state of distant stars, we can never see their present state. By the time any light reaches us, the moment that produced it is already gone. The present is always hidden, always receding, always ahead of what we can observe. And yet, we do not despair. We do not give up on trying to understand the universe just because we can only see its past. We take what information we can get, we analyze it, we use it to build our understanding of how things work. The delay of light is not an obstacle to knowledge. It is simply a feature of knowledge, something we factor into our observations and interpretations. Scientists who study the cosmos are always doing a kind of time travel. When they look at distant galaxies, they are studying how galaxies behaved billions of years ago. When they analyze the light from ancient stars, they are doing archaeology, digging into the past, reconstructing events that happened long before anyone was there to witness them. In this sense, astronomy is the ultimate history. It is history on scales that dwarf human civilization, history that stretches back to the beginning of everything. And the only way we can access that history is through the light that has been traveling toward us all this time, carrying its messages, preserving its memories, waiting to be received and understood. Let us think about what happens when light reaches the end of its journey, when it finally arrives at an eye, or a telescope, or a camera sensor. When the photon that has been traveling for years or millennia finally completes its journey. The photon is absorbed. It ceases to exist as a distinct particle and becomes something else, energy transferred to an electron in the receiving material. In your eye, that energy triggers a cascade of chemical and electrical events that eventually become a signal in your brain. In a camera, it becomes a tiny charge in a sensor, contributing to the image that is being recorded. In that moment of absorption, the journey is over. The photon has done its job. It has carried information across space and time, and now that information has been received. The source that created the photon might be long gone, might have changed beyond recognition, might have ceased to exist entirely. But the message got through. The connection was made. There is something poignant about this. The photon travels for so long, through such vast distances, carrying its tiny piece of information, and then in an instant it is gone. It gives up its energy, delivers its message, and disappears. Its entire existence was the journey, the travelling, the carrying, and then, at the moment of completion, it is no more. But the information persists. The message has been received. The knowledge has been transmitted. Even though the photon is gone, what it carried has been passed on. In your mind, or in a recorded image, or in the data of a scientific instrument, the information lives on. This is how knowledge survives across cosmic time, not through immortal messengers, but through the transmission of information from one form to another. The star creates the photon travels through space, the eye or instrument absorbs the photon, and the information enters a new medium where it can be processed and stored and thought about. We are the recipients of this ancient information. We are the minds that catch the messages, interpret them, try to make sense of them. The photons do their part by traveling and carrying. We do our part by receiving and understanding. There is something almost sacred about this exchange. The universe speaks and we listen. The stars send their light and we catch it. The past reaches toward us and we are there to receive it. We did not ask for this role. We did not choose it. But here we are, participating in a cosmic conversation that has been going on since light first existed. Let us think about the experience of looking at the night sky over time, not just in a single night, but across the span of a human life. When you were a child, you looked up at the stars and saw magic. Points of light scattered across the darkness, mysterious and beautiful and full of wonder. You did not know about light years or stellar physics or the delay of observation. You just saw stars, and they were enough. As you grew older, you perhaps learned some of the science. You learned that stars are suns, that they are very far away, that the light takes time to reach us. The magic might have faded a little, replaced by knowledge, or the magic might have deepened as you realized how much stranger and vaster the universe is than you had imagined as a child. And now, having thought about all of this, how does the night sky look to you? Has it changed? Has it become something different than it was before? The sky itself has not changed, of course. The stars are still there, still sending their light, still occupying their places in the patterns we have named constellations. What has changed is you. What has changed is how you see, how you understand, how you feel about what you are looking at. This is the power of knowledge. It does not change the world, but it changes our experience of the world. Knowing that the light from the stars is old, that some of the stars might no longer exist, that we are always seeing the past does not alter the stars. It alters us. It alters what we see when we look up. Some might say that this knowledge diminishes the experience, that the wonder is lost when we understand the mechanism, when we see through the magic to the physics beneath. But I do not think this is true. I think the wonder is transformed, not lost. I think knowing about the delay of light makes the night sky more wondrous, not less. Because now when you look at the stars, you are not just seeing pretty lights. You are seeing messengers from the past. You are receiving information that has been traveling towards you for years or centuries or millennia. You are participating in a process that spans the cosmos and reaches back through time. How is that not wondrous? How is that not magical in the deepest sense of the word? The universe is speaking to us, sending us images of itself from long ago, sharing its history with anyone who cares to look up. That is a gift beyond measure, and it is a gift that keeps giving. Every time you look at the night sky, you are receiving new light, light that has just completed its journey, light that is arriving at your eyes for the first and only time. The sky is always new, always fresh, always delivering its ancient messages to the present moment. Let us think about the relationship between the observer and the observed, about how seeing is not a one-way process, but a kind of interaction. When you look at a star, you are absorbing photons that the star emitted, but you are also interacting with those photons, changing them, ending their journeys. In a very small way, you are affecting the universe by receiving its light, and you are sending light of your own. Not starlight, but reflected sunlight, infrared radiation from your body heat, the photons that stream outward from any warm object. That light is traveling outward right now, heading into space, carrying information about you. In some sense, you and the stars are in dialogue. They send you their light, you send yours. The conversation takes a long time, of course. The light from the nearest stars takes years to arrive. The light you send will take years to reach them. But the exchange is happening. The connection is real. This dialogue is mostly one-sided from our perspective. We receive much more than we send. The light from the stars is powerful enough for us to see. The light we emit is far too faint for anyone at stellar distances to detect. But in principle, the exchange exists. We are not just passive observers. We are participants in a cosmic network of light and information. And there is something humbling about this. We think of ourselves as observers, as the ones who look and study and understand. But we are also the observed, the looked at, the subjects of other potential observers far away. If there are beings out there with telescopes powerful enough, they might see our sun, our planet, our lights at night. They might be studying us even as we study them. Of course, we would not know. The light takes too long. By the time their observations of us reach them, we would be ancient history. And by the time any response they sent could reach us, even more time would have passed. The dialogue is real, but it is stretched across such immense timescales that neither party could ever experience it as a conversation in the ordinary sense. But this just returns us to where we started, to the realization that cosmic connections are always delayed, always stretched across time, always involving messages that are old by the time they arrive. This is how the universe works. This is how connection happens across the vast distances of space. Let us think about what it would mean to truly internalize this understanding, to carry it with you, not as an abstract fact you know, but as a felt sense of how you experience the world. Every time you look at something far away, you would know you are seeing its past, not just knowing it intellectually, but feeling it, sensing it, letting it inform your perception. The mountain in the distance would be the mountain from a microsecond ago. The sun would be the sun from 8 minutes ago. The stars would be the stars from years and centuries ago. This might change how you relate to the world. It might give you a sense of patience, of acceptance, of peace with the fact that you are always a little behind. The universe moves forward and you follow, catching up through the light that arrives, piecing together your picture of reality from data that is always slightly out of date. It might also give you a sense of humility. You would know that you never see things as they are, only as they were. You would know that your picture of the world is always incomplete, always trailing behind the truth. This is not something to be fixed or overcome. It is simply the condition of being an observer in a universe where information takes time to travel. And it might give you a sense of wonder that never fades. Because every glance at the night sky would be a new encounter with ancient light, a fresh reception of messages from the past. The wonder would not depend on ignorance or mystery. It would arise from the sheer strangeness and beauty of how the universe actually works. Imagine going through your life with this understanding, waking up in the morning and seeing the sunlight streaming through your window, knowing it is light from 8 minutes ago, walking outside and seeing the world around you, knowing that everything you see is a tiny bit in the past, looking up at the stars at night and knowing that you are seeing history, a collection of moments from different eras, all arriving at your eyes in a single glance. It would not make you crazy or confused. The delays in everyday life are too small to matter. You would still function, still interact, still live your life as you always have. But underneath it all, there would be this quiet awareness, this subtle understanding, this gentle reminder that seeing is always delayed, that you are always catching up, that the universe shares itself with you through the slow arrival of its light. Some people might find this unsettling. They might prefer not to think about it, to go through life with the simple assumption that seeing is immediate and the world is present. And that is fine. The universe does not require you to think about its workings in order to function within it. But if you can hold this understanding lightly, if you can carry it as a source of wonder rather than anxiety, it might enrich your experience of being alive. It might connect you to something larger than yourself. It might help you feel at home in a cosmos that is strange and vast and full of mysteries. Let us think finally about gratitude, about what it means to be grateful for the light that reaches us. We take seeing for granted most of the time. Our eyes open, the world appears, and we go about our business. We do not stop to think about the photons entering our eyes, the journeys they have made, the information they carry. We just see, and that is enough. But what if we paused now and then to appreciate the gift? What if we took a moment to feel grateful for the light that makes seeing possible, for the universe that sends it, for the eyes and brain that receive and interpret it? Gratitude is a kind of attention. It is noticing what is given to us, acknowledging it, appreciating it. And the light from the cosmos is one of the greatest gifts we receive. It is the only way we know anything about the universe beyond our planet. It is how we see the stars, the sun, the moon, the galaxies. Without it, we would be blind to everything beyond our immediate surroundings. And the light comes freely. It asks nothing of us in return. The stars do not send invoices. The galaxies do not charge subscription fees. The universe simply shines, endlessly, profligately, sending its light in all directions, sharing itself with anyone who has eyes to see. This is a generosity so vast that we rarely notice it. We are bathed in cosmic light every moment of our lives, and we pay it no attention. We look at the stars and forget to marvel at the fact that we can look at them at all. We see the world and forget to be grateful that there is anything to see. But maybe, just for a moment, we can remember. We can feel the wonder and the gratitude and the quiet amazement at being alive in a universe of light. We can appreciate the photons that are arriving right now, completing their journeys, ending their travels in our eyes. We can acknowledge the gift and let ourselves feel thankful for it. The night sky is a ghost. Yes, but it is a generous ghost, a giving ghost, a ghost that shares its treasures with anyone who looks up. The past arrives as a gift, bringing images and information from across the cosmos. We are the recipients of this extraordinary generosity, and maybe, just maybe, we can learn to appreciate it. As this exploration draws to a close, let us simply be present with what we have discovered, not trying to solve anything or reach any final conclusion, just sitting with the strangeness and the beauty and the quiet wonder of it all. The speed of light is finite. We see the past. The night sky is a collection of ghosts. Some stars might have died without our knowing. We can never see the present at cosmic distances. We are always late observers, always receiving old news, always catching up with a universe that moves forward while we look back. These are facts. They are part of how reality works, and they are also invitations. Invitations to see the world differently, to appreciate what we have, to find wonder in the strangeness of existence. You do not have to do anything with this knowledge. You do not have to change your life or embark on a new project or reach any particular state of understanding. You can simply let it rest in your mind, let it become part of how you see things, let it inform your experience without demanding anything from you. The light will keep arriving. The stars will keep sending. The past will keep reaching toward us through the vast darkness of space. And we will keep looking, keep receiving, keep wondering about what it all means. That is enough. That is more than enough. That is everything. The night sky is a ghost, and you, looking up at it, are part of the story, part of the vast, ancient, ongoing story of light traveling through the cosmos, finding its way to eyes that can see it, becoming images and thoughts and feelings in minds that can wonder about it. Welcome to the story. Welcome to the conversation. Welcome to the endless, patient, beautiful exchange of light that connects everything across time and space. You belong here. You have always belonged here. And the light that reaches you tonight is proof of that belonging, a message from the cosmos saying that you are part of this, that you matter, that you are seen even as you see. Rest in that. Let it hold you. Let it be what it is. The night sky is a ghost. You are seeing it. And that is the most wonderful thing. There is a particular stillness that can come over you when you truly contemplate the nature of light and time. Not an empty stillness, but a full one. A stillness that contains understanding, acceptance, and a quiet kind of joy. This stillness is different from the stillness of sleep or the stillness of boredom. It is the stillness of someone who has glimpsed something vast and is allowing it to settle into their being. It is the stillness of recognition, of realizing that you are part of something much larger than yourself, and that this belonging does not require you to do anything or prove anything or become anything other than what you already are. When you sit under the night sky and look at the stars, this stillness can find you. It can seep into you like the cool night air, filling the spaces between your thoughts, quieting the chatter of your mind. The stars do not ask you to be anything. They do not judge you or evaluate you. They simply shine, and you simply see, and in that simple exchange there is a kind of peace. The delay of light, far from being a source of anxiety or frustration, can actually contribute to this stillness. It reminds you that you are not in control of everything. You cannot speed up the light. You cannot see the present across cosmic distances. You cannot know what is happening on distant stars right now. And this lack of control, this surrender to the way things are, can be deeply relaxing. We spend so much of our lives trying to control things, trying to know things, trying to be ahead of events, to anticipate what is coming, to prepare for the future. But the universe gently reminds us that some things cannot be controlled or known or anticipated. The light takes as long as it takes. The past arrives when it arrives. Our job is not to hurry it along or complain about the delay. Our job is simply to receive what comes. There is wisdom in this, the wisdom of patience, of acceptance, of letting things be. The wisdom of knowing that you are not the master of the cosmos, but a guest within it, a receiver of its gifts, a temporary consciousness that gets to witness a small part of its unfolding. Let us think about the way darkness and light work together, about how the night sky is not just a display of light, but a dance between light and darkness, between the visible and the invisible. The stars would not be visible without the darkness between them. If the sky were uniformly bright, we would see nothing but brightness. It is the contrast between the stars and the darkness that allows us to perceive them, to pick them out, to appreciate their presence. In a sense, the darkness is just as important as the light. It is the canvas on which the light is displayed, the background against which the stars become visible. Without it, there would be no night sky as we know it, no patterns of constellations, no Milky Way stretching across the heavens. And the darkness has its own kind of beauty. It is not nothing. It is space, vast and empty and full of potential. It is the stage on which cosmic dramas play out, the medium through which light travels, the vast silence in which the stars speak their quiet messages of photons and history. When you look at the night sky, you are looking at both light and darkness, at presence and absence, at messages and the spaces between messages. The darkness is not a failure of light or a lack of something that should be there. It is part of the picture, part of the beauty, part of what makes the night sky what it is. Perhaps there is a lesson here about how we see our own lives, about how the dark times and the light times work together, about how absence and presence, silence and sound, loss and gain all contribute to the fullness of experience. The darkness in our lives is not just emptiness to be endured until the light returns. It is part of the texture, part of the depth, part of what makes the moments of light so precious when they come. But that is perhaps too much philosophizing for one night. Let us return to the simple experience of being here, under the sky, looking at the stars. The air is cool around you. Your breath rises and falls in an easy rhythm. Your body is relaxed, your muscles soft, your mind quiet. The stars are above you, or perhaps you are imagining them, holding them in your mind's eye as you listen to these words. Each star is a sun. Each one is generating tremendous energy through nuclear reactions, converting hydrogen to helium and releasing light in the process. Each one has been doing this for millions or billions of years, depending on its size and age. Each one will continue doing this for millions or billions more years until its fuel runs out and it begins the slow process of dying. But you do not need to think about the physics. You do not need to understand how stars work in order to appreciate them. You can simply look, simply see, simply receive the light that arrives. The stars do not require your understanding in order to shine. They shine anyway, regardless of whether anyone is watching, regardless of whether anyone knows what is happening inside them. This is one of the beautiful things about the universe. It does not exist for us. It does not require our understanding or our approval or our attention. It simply is, going about its business, following its laws, unfolding according to its nature. And we get to be here, in the middle of it, watching, wondering, trying to make sense of what we see. The universe is not performing for us. It is not trying to impress us or educate us or entertain us. It is just being itself, and we are privileged to witness a tiny fraction of that being. The light that reaches our eyes is not meant for us specifically. It is simply light, travelling outward in all directions, and we happen to be in the path of some of it. There is something freeing about this. We are not obligated to understand everything. We are not required to have all the answers. We can simply be here, receiving what arrives, appreciating what we can, accepting that there is much we will never know. The night sky has been there for far longer than humans have existed. It will continue to be there long after we are gone. The stars do not care about our questions or our theories or our attempts to understand them. They just shine, and we just look. And somewhere in that simple exchange there is something profound. Let us think about what happens when you stop looking. When you close your eyes, or go inside, or turn your attention to other things. The stars do not stop shining. The light does not stop traveling. The universe continues whether you are paying attention or not. This is obvious, of course. We know that the world does not depend on our observation. The tree in the forest makes a sound whether or not anyone hears it. The star in the sky shines whether or not anyone sees it. Reality does not wait for permission from observers. But there is something worth sitting with in this fact. Your awareness is precious. Your attention is limited. You can only look at so much, think about so much, take in so much. And when you direct your awareness at the night sky, you are choosing to receive the light that is arriving, to engage with the ancient messages that are streaming toward you. This is a choice, even if it does not feel like one. You could be doing something else. You could be looking elsewhere. You could be distracted or asleep or busy with other things. But instead, in this moment, you are here. You are paying attention. You are receiving the light. This makes you part of the story, not just a passive observer, but an active participant. The light completes its journey in your awareness. The messages find their destination in your mind. You are not just watching the story unfold, you are one of the places where it unfolds, one of the points where cosmic light becomes human experience. This is true every time anyone looks at the night sky. Every observer becomes part of the story. Every pair of eyes that catches the starlight becomes a destination for ancient photons. The universe is not just being observed, it is being completed, in a sense, as its light finds the minds that can receive it and make meaning from it. And when no one is looking, the light still travels. The universe still unfolds. But something is missing, perhaps. Some potential remains unfulfilled. The messages travel without being received. The stories stream forward without anyone to hear them. We cannot look at everything. We cannot receive all the light. But what we can look at, what we can receive, becomes part of our experience, part of our understanding, part of what we carry with us through our lives. Let us simply rest here for a while. In this quiet place under these ancient lights, in this moment that is made of countless moments arriving from the past. The stars are there. The light is traveling. The universe is sharing itself with you, giving you fragments of its history, inviting you to participate in the great exchange of information that has been going on since the first photons were created. You do not need to do anything with this. You do not need to understand it fully or feel a particular way about it. You can simply be here, receiving what arrives, letting the experience wash over you without trying to hold on to it or push it away. This is enough. This is what being alive offers. Moments of awareness, experiences of beauty, glimpses of something larger than ourselves. We do not get to keep them. They pass, as all moments pass. But while they are here, they are real, and they are ours to experience. The light that enters your eyes tonight will never enter your eyes again. Those particular photons, having completed their journeys, will be absorbed and transformed into other forms of energy. They will become part of you in a small way, contributing to the electrochemical processes in your retina and brain. And then they will be gone, their journeys over, their messages delivered. But more light will come. Tomorrow night, or the next clear night, there will be more photons arriving, more ancient light completing more ancient journeys. The supply is endless. The universe is generous. There will always be more light to see, more messages to receive, more moments of quiet wonder to experience. So rest easy. Let go of any urgency or anxiety or need to figure things out. The night sky will be there. The stars will keep shining. The light will keep arriving, and you will keep being here in whatever form you take, whatever moments you experience, whatever glimpses of the cosmos you manage to catch. You are part of this. You have always been part of this. From the moment you were born, you were a receiver of cosmic light, a destination for ancient photons, a point of awareness in a universe that produces awareness and then marvels at itself through that awareness. This is not a burden. This is not an obligation. This is simply what you are. A momentary pattern of matter that can see and think and wonder. A brief flicker of consciousness in a vast cosmos of light and darkness. A small part of the universe that has learned to look up at the rest of it and feel amazed. Let the amazement be soft. Let the wonder be gentle. Let the understanding settle slowly, like dust drifting down through still water. There is no hurry. There is no test at the end. There is only this moment, this experience, this light arriving at your eyes from across time and space. The night sky is a ghost. You are seeing it. And in that seeing, something beautiful is happening. Something quiet and profound and utterly simple. Light meeting awareness, the past reaching the present, the universe knowing itself through your eyes. Let it be what it is. Let yourself be what you are. And let the stillness hold you as you drift toward whatever comes next. The light has arrived. You are here to meet it. And that is the whole story. That is the quiet miracle of every night, every sky, every glance upward into the ancient, ongoing, endlessly arriving past. Rest now. The light will still be there. It always is. It always will be. And you, for as long as you are here, get to see it. That is the gift. That is the wonder. That is everything.